going for a big, massive day of elimination finals to come. It is going to be absolutely huge. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKR Sport. We are live as the New Zealand Warriors are going to be taking on the Penrith Panthers in a game that will see one of those two teams eliminated on this ladder today. And also, they're both on fraudulent. They are, funnily enough, both on fraudulent. So it's going to be super interesting to see who we consider the biggest of the frauds here between the two when we do discuss it. But look, it's a massive day of rugby league because we do have the Sharks and the Roosters in another elimination final right after this. I feel like usually we see on Friday like first versus fourth or second versus third kind of deal in a double chancer, which we saw last night. Then on the Saturday it would kind of be split between one game. The first game usually I feel like would be first versus fourth, and then you would see an elimination final, and then on Sunday you would see the second elimination final. I feel like that's what we've usually done, but I could be completely incorrect there. But this season we've got both the double chances on either side of the two elimination finals today. So it's going to be a really dramatic day of rugby league that I hope you guys are prepared for. Obviously, this one here is going to be all over the shop because there is a lot of Warriors fans out there that are going to be cheering for their first ever premiership. They're going to be cheering to bounce out of the form that we've seen over these last couple of months and the heartbreak that we saw last week as well. Despite the fact it didn't really mean anything to lose that game by 1 point to Manly, lose that game by 4 points to the Eels. You know, they beat the Titans, they just beat the Dragons, but also lost the Dogs, the Dolphins, and the Titans as well. You know, it's been a really tough couple of months here for the Warriors where they have completely fallen off a cliff in regards to how good they were to start this season. And to start the season, again, I've got to really remind everyone that the start of the season was based off of their defense. Their defense has become a little bit lackluster and a little bit sloppy over the last couple of months comparatively to when they were just absolutely dominating from their defensive structure at the beginning of the year, which is a big testament to how important Mitchell Barnett was and a big testament to how Luke Metcalf was organising this team. Again, their attack wasn't flowing. They were still in like 11th or 12th in attack, or even maybe 10th for attack when they had their full-strength team. They weren't into the top four based off of their attack. It was purely on their defense, and it was so strong. But unfortunately, it has fallen away a little bit. And we're going up against a team today in the Penrith Panthers who have had so many problems this year. They've been all over the shop. They've been in last place. They've been in the top four. They've been just outside the 8. They've been in the 8. They're finishing 7th. You know, they're off 4 premierships in a row, 5 grand finals in a row. But now is your chance, Warriors, to make history. Now is your chance to not only progress yourselves further into the competition and give yourself a chance as you will take on the Canterbury Bulldogs next week as they lost to the Storm last night. You give yourself a chance. But I think a real crucial point here is that you can remove the historical streak that the Panthers are currently on and prevent them from winning 5 in a row. Because if they lose, they are out. This is do or die footy at this point. This is do or die footy. So there is history to be made here for the Warriors. There's also history to be made for the Panthers to go and try and get to that 5 wins in a row and to progress through to play the Dogs next week, which would be an absolute belter of a game. I actually do think that both sides of these two teams here will create a really good game with the Bulldogs. However, depending on the injuries from the Bulldogs game last night and the injuries that come from today, I do think the Bulldogs still probably beat both of these teams, but that's getting a little bit of ahead of ourselves right now. So we'll talk about that next week anyway. But today we'll obviously go through the two-team lineups. Then we'll go through the points differentials of how these teams ended up throughout the season. Give you a little bit of my preview. Also, don't forget, we'll be live for the Sharks versus the Roosters, another elimination final later. And then tomorrow we do have the Raiders versus the Broncos. So hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. We've gone live an hour early because there's plenty to get chatting about. So the New Zealand Warriors, they come into this game from 6th position. The Panthers, they finish up the season in 7th position, and this is at Go Media Stadium in Auckland. The ins here, a couple of massive ins for the Warriors. Jackson Ford and Wade Egan, with the out being Rocco Berry. You know, I'd see that from Rocco Berry. You know, he can't be sold on his day, but the ins of Wade Egan and Jackson Ford are massive. Ford is a hard worker. He's a good defender. They need someone like him. He can make mistakes for sure. He definitely does make mistakes. He can come up with a knock-on or an ill-disciplined penalty, but ultimately, Jackson Ford is a really key part to the defense of this team, especially when you're losing a guy like Mitchell Barnett. You need someone like this in Jackson Ford. And then Wade Egan, look, I have my reservations. I think that Wade Egan is a very good hooker, but I have really loved Samuel Healy. I think that Samuel Healy was their best player last week against Manly in the loss when they lost 27-26. I'm really intrigued that Samuel Healy is not playing today. He's actually on the extended reserve. Well, he's on the reserves in number 20. No, he's actually been shifted now into the interchange. So they've just updated the team list because it's an hour beforehand, and Samuel Healy is onto the interchange. So I do like that. And I'm actually really glad that I waited because there's been a couple of changes to this team lineup over this last few moments, and Tane Tuapiki has also dropped out of that Warriors lineup. So Rocco Berry and Tane Tuapiki is out, and Wade Egan and Jackson Ford are in. So yeah, look, I do love that Wade Egan is a part of this team. I just really loved what Samuel Healy's been doing in this back part of the season, and it would have been great to see him starting that 9, but I can also love to see him coming off that bench. Now the fullback is Chance Newell-Klokstad, the wingers Dallin Watene-Zalesniak and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, centres of Adam Pompey and Leka Halasima, shifts in from the back row into the centres. Go to the 5'8", Chanel Harris-Tavita, and the halfback is the man who does not miss. He never misses, Tanner Boyd. The front row forward is James Fisher-Harris and Jackson Ford, number 9 of Wade Egan. Back row, Kurt Catewell, he switches with Leka Halasima. He was in the centres, now he's in the back row, and Marata Niokore is alongside him, and then Ez Clark, Big Aaron Clark is the 13. Interchange of Tamati Martin, Dimitri Mulga, Tanner Stowers-Smith, and Samuel Healy, with the 18th man replacement being Eddie Jeremiah Tuava, who was originally meant to be on the bench. Now he's been put to the 18th man. The coach is Andrew Webster. Now this Warriors team, again, they just need to find some form, dude. They really need to find some form. It's been a tough last 2-3 months of a slog. Again, last week they lost 27-26 to Manly. I think if the Warriors, if the Broncos hadn't have beaten the Storm to guarantee their top 4 spot, I think the Warriors would have had a lot more to play for, and they would have gotten over the line there. But ultimately, I still saw that game for the Warriors as we need to get our shit sorted. We need to get our shit back in action, which the Warriors haven't had in action for a long time now. They've been really, really struggling. So I really would have liked to see their defensive structures, come back at the very least. It's good to see that they scored some points, but the team they went up against, Manly, as we saw through the last month or so of the season, they could score a ridiculous amount of points, but they would also give up a ridiculous amount of points. So was that the Warriors' attack flowing, or was that Manly's defense just coming to guts like usual? And I would lean more towards the Manly side there, because overall, despite the fact they scored a good amount of points in the last few weeks, it was against a team, the Titans, who was 17th at the time, and also against the Eels, who they lost to. But these two teams aren't necessarily known as amazing defensive teams. So I still worry about the attack there, and I just would have really liked to have seen the Warriors get a win last week for the sole purpose of, regardless of what the fact it's not going to change your ladder position, you still just needed to win that game to get a roll on. The week beforehand, like I said, lost 26-22 to the Eels. They beat the Titans 32-18. It wasn't convincing, but it still got the job done. They beat the Dragons 14-10. Nearly lost at the end, but it wasn't convincing, but they got the job done. And then you go back where they lost 32-14 to the Bulldogs. They lost 20-18 the last dying seconds to the Dolphins, when the Warriors were probably the better team in that game. And we always say this, the teams that win games that they don't necessarily deserve to win or weren't the better team in are championship credentials, right? They have that kind of contender mentality that even when they're not good, they still find a way to win, i.e. the Storm, i.e. the Panthers. These kind of teams, they still usually find a way to win. This is a worry here, though, for the Warriors in that Dolphins game, where they were the better team, and yet they still found a way to actually lose that game. So for the same purpose of what I was saying there, but switched to a different mentality, it makes it even more of a concern that they couldn't put the Dolphins away in that game. Now, they did have quite a few players out, but you still would have expected, considering they were the better team throughout the 80 minutes of that game, it should have won that game. And then you go back the week beforehand where they lost to the Titans 24-16, which is a crazy result. They're 17th at the time. They beat the Knights 20-15, who ended up coming last this year. But also that came through a very lucky deflection where Leka Halasima did an amazing work to run from 40 metres out to score the try and break the Knights fans' hearts, which ultimately kind of gave them the spoon. But the point is that shouldn't be happening. The Warriors should have been convincingly beating a team that was in the bottom 4 at the time, did end up finishing in last position, and it had to wait until the very last seconds of the game to get that done. They go back and they beat the Tigers 34-14, and then you go and lose to the Broncos 26-12. But the biggest key one here is the one that we're waiting to get back to, and that's the team they're playing today, in the Penrith Panthers. The last game against them, they lost 28-18 in New Zealand. Now, the issue with this is that the Warriors were heavy favourites. The Panthers at the time were, I think, in about 12th position or 11th position, maybe. No, I think it might have been below. I think it might have been 12th or 13th position. And the Panthers didn't have Dylan Edwards. They didn't have Nathan Cleary. They didn't have Brian To'o. They didn't have Liam Martin. They didn't have Isaiah Yeo. They had 5 of their origin stars out. The Warriors only had Kurt Capewell out. They had a full-strength team. They also had Luke Metcalf at this time too, the Warriors. So it was Mitchell Barnett was out, but Luke Metcalf, he was playing in the team. So that is a significant concern. The last time these two teams did play, the Warriors were close enough to full strength and still got done 28-18 at home. Before that, they beat the Sharks 40-10 in Cronulla. But it's a very big concern when the team we're seeing right now, 28-18 loss on full strength to an understrength Panthers, and now the Panthers will have a full strength lineup with their origin players in. So overall, look, the Warriors, they have a team that has the ability to win today, and I have a bit of a gut feeling that they might be able to get up here. Do I go with my gut or do I go with my head? Obviously, I'm about to go through the Panthers lineup before I do talk about my prediction, but I do get a bit of a gut feeling that they will be able to get over the line for their home fans today, which would be a massive upset. Which only time will tell, but they need to play a lot better footy than they have in the last couple of months if they want any chance of winning this game, or if they want any chance of losing this game in a close one. They need to play the footy that they were playing at the start of the year if they want any chance of getting close to the Panthers in today's game. Now, the Panthers, Brian To'o, Liam Martin, and Luke Summerton are in, with the outs being Dane Laurie, Maverick Geyer, and Mitch Kenny. Massive out there of Mitch Kenny. He is their line of defense. He is a really strong player defensively. I don't necessarily think he's the best attacking hooker in the competition by any stretch of the imagination, but he is so crucial in regards to their defense. That will be a big loss for them, especially with Luke Summerton coming in. It's actually Brad Schneider that's going to be playing in their hooker role today, who's normally the halfback and replacement of Nathan Cleary. Brad Schneider, for mine, take the kicking duties away from him. I really didn't like what he was doing the other week when he got an opportunity against the Bulldogs when the Panthers rested 16 of their 17 players. He just didn't come in and do anything really, Brad Schneider. So take the kicking duties away. You got Nathan Cleary there to do that. And don't let Brad Schneider near that ball in regards to kicking, in my personal opinion. But that is a massive change in their lineup that people won't necessarily recognise because he's not the most star-studded player, Mitch Kenny. But there's a reason why he's in this team, and there's a reason why he's been their hooker and won multiple premierships, right? But Liam Martin and Brian To'o, there's no debate that these are two incredible inclusions that will go a long way for the Panthers to win this game. Now, the fullback is Dylan Edwards, the wingers are Paul Alamotti and Brian To'o, centers of Isaac Tungo and Casey McLean. You go to the 5'8", which is Blaze Talangi, and the halfback Nathan Cleary, who is the captain. Then you go to the front row forwards of Moses Leota and Lindsay Smith. The number 9 is Brad Schneider, who was originally meant to be the 14. Now he is the starting hooker. Back row of Scott Sorensen and Liam Martin. 13 is Isaiah Yeo, with the interchange being Luke Summerton, who drops out from that 9 to the bench. Liam Henry, Isaiah Papali'i, and Luke Garner, with the 18th man replacement being Thomas Jenkins and Ivan Cleary as the coach. Obviously, a tough call there for Thomas Jenkins. They've decided to keep Brian To'o and Paul Alamotti on the wings. I do understand it, but Jenkins has been playing some really good footy for the Panthers this year. He's been scoring a bucket load of tries, and he's been doing some great stuff. So it is a bit of a kick in the teeth if you are Thomas Jenkins that you're not going to be able to play in this finals game over here in New Zealand. For Paul Alamotti, who hasn't been in their team for the majority of the season. Paul Alamotti is usually sitting as that 18th man. He's usually not actually playing this team. He is a good player, and he does a great job for the Panthers, but it is a little bit of a kick in the teeth there to Thomas Jenkins, in my personal opinion. But maybe they just wanted to get a bit more of a bulkier, strong defensive player in Alamotti to protect the wing against, I think, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck would be on his side. So maybe that's just a pure matchup decision there. And the rest of their team is, look, there's no point even really going too heavily into it. The hooker role is obviously going to be the biggest controversial situation today, but overall they've won 4 premierships in a row with a large portion of this team. Guys like Yo, guys like Liam Martin, Scotty Sorensen, Moses Leota, Nathan Cleary, Brian To'o, Isaac Tungo, who hasn't necessarily been in form this year, and then Dylan Edwards. A large portion of this team knows how to win these games. They all know how to win these games, and when the going gets tough, they get damn well tougher. That's just what the Panthers are known for, and that's what they do, and that's why they've won 4 premierships in a row. You can be angry at them, you can be jealous of them, you can be frustrated that they're always winning, but the reason why they're always winning is because they have the audacity to believe they can always win. They have the tenacity to get through the hardest points of the game, and they know how to to suffocate you. They suffocate you in defense and then just absolutely obliterate you in attack. So whilst the Panthers have not exactly been unbelievable this season, they still are the damn well 4-time premiers in a row. And people need to remember that. Now, last week they did win the game 40-20 over the Dragons. I wasn't overtly impressed by this game. Yes, sure, they scored 40 points against a Dragons team that was completely dead in the water post that Warriors loss, which knocked them out of the finals contention. The Dragons didn't give a shit for the rest of the season, and no one can kind of convince me that they were mentally in the game for the last 3 or so weeks of the year. You know, the way they lost to Manly, the way they lost to the Rabbitohs, the way they lost to the Panthers, it was really just despicable, you know, and I really wish better for their fans who, despite the fact they had nothing to play for, you would have liked to seen them give a lot more of a care factor. Now, the Dragons still scored 20 points in this game. So considering what I've just said, where it was very obvious the Dragons were mentally clicked off, they still scored 20 points in this game, where the Panthers, yeah, great, they scored 40 points against a really weak Dragons defense who didn't care. But to give up the 20 points there is a little bit of a concern. That's a lot of points to give up in a game. Again, you have to score more points than you concede, and that's fine. They won the game. But 20 points is still a lot. I don't give a shit about the Bulldogs game. 28-4 loss to the Bulldogs, but they had 16 of their 17 players out and actually impressed in the first half. Second half, they fell away like you would expect. But the first half, they were actually quite impressive, that baby Panthers team. And the Bulldogs didn't really kind of kick on with it. So that's why I kind of ignore that game kind of overall, but it does show that the Panthers have some pretty solid depth there. And no matter what, they still have the ability to kind of keep it close for the most part. Again, a full-strength top 3 team should be doing that score and more. They should have actually been doing more, the Bulldogs, by a long stretch. So anyway, you ignore that game, and you can ignore the Dragons game if you want to, but I do think the 20 points is something to speak about. But the key thing that I was saying for a good month and a half, where everyone was really circle jerking the Panthers, and they were saying the Panthers are winning all these games in a row, they're coming, they're going to win the comp again, it's so obvious. Well, I didn't see it as obvious, and the reason being was that they were beating the Knights, who finished in 17th. They controversially beat the Titans, who finished in 16th. You know, they beat the Tigers, who finished in 12th position? 1 second here. That's the women's premiership. The Tigers finished in 13th position. Sorry, 1 step lower. They beat the Rabbitohs, who finished in 14th position. They beat the Eels, who finished in 11th position. They beat the Bulldogs, who finished in 3rd. That's great. And the Warriors, who finished in 6th. Sure. But they also only beat the Tigers, who again finished in 13th position, and they beat the Eels, who again finished in 11th position. But also at the time, the Eels were a bottom 2, bottom 3 team. So in that stretch, post their loss of 25-6 to the Wooden Spoon and Knights, in that stretch, who did they beat of note? Because I actually will say, contextually speaking, at that time of the season, and arguably for the whole second half of the season, the Warriors weren't a team of note. But I will say the Bulldogs were a team of note at the time, and that was a fantastic game between the two teams. Absolutely unbelievable game between the two teams, where both were great, but it's just the Panthers found a way through a great charge down, I think it was from Nathan Cleary, and scored the try. So outside of, and if you want to grant the Warriors that time, despite the fact I would disagree with you, but if you want to grant them as another big team at the time, so out of that 9-game win streak, they only beat 2 teams that were above the top 10. Above the top 10. So that's why Eels, Rabbitohs, Tigers, Titans, Knights was meaningless for mine. I wanted to see them against the best teams, and then they played the Storm, the Raiders, and the Bulldogs in 3 consecutive weeks. And I said for a long time, if they win all 3 of their games, they win the premiership. If they win 2 out of the 3 games, then I've got them as a genuine contender. If they win just 1 of the 3 games, then I've got concerns. I think there's a little bit of fraud alert about them. But if they didn't win any of those games, I wouldn't see them winning the premiership. And they lost all 3 of them. Now, granted, the Bulldogs game did have all the Panthers players out of the game, but that's not anyone's fault but their own. They chose to do that, and they lost 28-4. But the 2 weeks prior, they lost the Storm of 22-18, where the first half they were very good, and they fell away in the second half, and then it was a miracle try from Harry Grant, incredible, to break the hearts of Panthers. So they lost that game, and the same thing happened the week after against the Raiders, where they had a fantastic first half and led, but then they fell apart in the second half, and the Raiders came back and then scored a miracle try in the last couple of seconds to win the game. So whilst you can say the pro of that is that they were very competitive and they were very good in those 2 games to compete with the 2 big dogs, the con is that they still lost all 3 of those games. I don't give a shit about what happened with the Dogs because that was their choice. They still lost all 3 of them. So this is why I still have those significant concerns that I don't think they win the premiership. I still have teams like the Storm, or like the Raiders, or even like the Bulldogs above them. I have these teams there. I even would say right now that I have a little bit more faith. Currently speaking, this can change provided what we see here today against the Warriors team. I would still have a bit more faith in the Sharks and the Broncos. And that might say I don't have faith in the Warriors, and I don't have faith in the Roosters comparatively, but I do think that people overrated that Panthers run based on who they were playing, and then when they had the time and the chance to prove themselves, they didn't in that time frame. Can they win the comp? Anyone in the top 8 can win the comp. That's just a fact. If you make the top 8, you can win the comp. In the AFL, the Western Bulldogs in 2016 won from 7th position. No team in the NRL has won outside the top 4. But you can win the comp from anywhere in the top 8. It is possible if you are good enough. All right? And if a team was going to do it outside the top 4, it would be this Panthers team. But you know, they had a chance to prove themselves and they didn't. So that's where I still have that reservation about where the Panthers are at. And I think today will be a really good telling point because the Warriors are a team that are so beatable right now. I can't remember a time where I've thought of a top 8 team as beatable right now as the New Zealand Warriors, especially from a team that was in the top 4. But that also doesn't mean that it's an easy beat. It doesn't mean that they're just going to come and they're just going to roll them. They still need to have that same mentality that they've been hungry for the last 4 or 5 years to win that competition. So do you want to create the history, or do the Warriors want it more? That's obviously what it's going to be, for today. But I guess the way the Panthers play today, if they win by like 1 point, I actually will think that's more impressive to me than winning by. I think that'll be more impressive than a big blowout. If it's like a 40-point blowout, then no, that'd be more impressive. But if it's like 1 point and they just find that way to win regardless of the performance on the field, they'll tell me that, the Panthers still have that grit about them. But if they win by 10 to 20 points, I'm really going to kind of look at that and say, well, it was the Warriors. But if they win by 20 plus points, then it's kind of it's impossible to ignore that the Panthers are that team, right? So 1 to 6 points is that grit. 7 to 20 points for mine is I'm really going to be looking towards the Warriors, and they were just very beatable. But then 21 points and above, you can't hide from the fact that was just an absolute walloping from the Panthers. And it was a bit of a mix of the Warriors being very beatable and the Panthers being ready and to rock and roll. So, look, I don't know who to tip here today. I get a really big gut feeling about the Warriors here at home. I think that despite the fact that it's a bit of a facade that people go on about and yap on about, that the Warriors are such an incredible team over there in New Zealand and that they're not going to get beaten at home. Well, their home record this year in the NRL, they were 7-5. Now, to compare that, that is an expectation. But the Raiders were 11-1. The Storm were 9-3. The Bulldogs were 9-3. The Broncos were 9-3. The Sharks were 10-2. Focus on that, Roosters. The Panthers were 6-6. The Dolphins were 7-5. Manly were 8-4. So Manly and the Dolphins, or Manly, who finished in 10th, had a better home record than the Warriors this year. Just absolutely, and the Rabbitohs and the Dragons in 14th and 15th had a very similar, only 1 win less than the Warriors when it came to their home record. It's an expectation that you should be able to really get up at home and you should be able to hold that home fortress. So the Warriors are not an easy, they are not a guaranteed team in New Zealand, whilst the Panthers this year, away from home, well, they're 6-6. They won 6 games at home, Combank, but they also... Oh, no, sorry, I'm looking at the away there. Away from home, the Panthers are actually 7-4. So the Warriors are 7-5 at home. The Panthers are 7-4 away. Why is that 1 game less? Why is that 1 game less? I'm not too sure, unless they're not including like Mudgee and stuff like that. I don't know. Anyway, the point is that they've actually got a better away record, the Panthers, than the Warriors have a home record. So that is a worry. That is definitely a worry. Look, I feel like if I was going to tip an upset this round, I probably would go... well, the Sharks are considered upsets, but I don't understand how that's an upset. And I do think the Raiders beat the Broncos tomorrow. But you know what? For the gut feeling, I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to say we're going to see a surprise today. I'm going to say we're going to see a surprise and the Warriors win. But I think that based off of form, you'd be smart to be tipping the Panthers based off of form. If you're going to go purely off of form, you have to tip the Panthers, and you tip Panthers 13 plus on form. But I just get this gut feeling that the Warriors just find a way, and I think this is their grand final. And I think they have to utilise this and produce a grand final standard today to win this game, but this is their grand final for mine, because I don't see the Warriors getting past the Panthers and going on and winning 3 straight games after that, and then winning the comp. They would have to win 4 straight games in a row in the finals after previously losing their last 3 in a row of the NRL season, correct? Warriors in their last 3 games of the NRL season, they lost to Manly, they lost to the Eels, no, they beat the Titans, right? But they would have lost their last 2 games of the regular season, and then would have to win all 4 straight games of finals footy against the best teams in the competition. So I can't see that. So I'm going to say Warriors get the gut vibe. I'm going to go with the Wars. I'm going to say they win, but I do have them getting knocked out next week. And I would not be surprised at all if the Panthers come in and dominate either. I'll put that out there. And now quickly to go into their for and against. So the attack this year, the Warriors have scored 517 points. By the way, the game starts in about 30 minutes time, guys. So hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. For the finals, we're doing plenty of preview and then obviously get into the chat. So we've got plenty of time to discuss it all. But the Warriors, they've scored 517 points this year. The Panthers have scored 576. So both teams' attack has not been free-flowing, but the Warriors, just a reminder, you had less points than the Titans this year. The Titans scored 520 points. The Warriors scored 517 points. So when I kept saying all year long, it's not your attack, it's not your attack, it's not your attack, it's because it's not your attack. You know, a lot of people tried to argue it and say Metcalf and all this sort of stuff. Even with Metcalf, the attack was not there for the Warriors. 517 is not great. That is behind the Raiders, that is behind the Storm, that is behind the Bulldogs by a very small margin. That is behind the Broncos, that is behind the Sharks, that is behind the Panthers, behind the Roosters, behind the Dolphins. That is also behind Manly, behind the Titans, as I said, and behind the Cowboys. So they're about 11th for attack this year, the Warriors. Whilst the Panthers at 576, it's not an insane amount better, but it's still a good, 60 odd better. The Panthers are behind the Raiders, the Storm, not the Bulldogs, Raiders, the Storm, the Broncos, the Sharks, the Roosters, the Dolphins, and that's it. So they'd be sitting around that 6-7 kind of area for attack. So there is a decent enough difference, but you would have more confidence in the Panthers attack based off of recent years against this Warriors team. You'd have more confidence in that Panthers attack. It's not a significant difference, but it's still a decent enough difference where the Panthers are a top 8 team for attack. The Warriors are a bottom 7 team for attack. So there is to go on that metric, the Panthers are quite a big distance away. But defensively speaking, both these teams are pretty much the same. Warriors at 496 and the Panthers at 469. So they're only separated by 27. They're literally only separated by 27 points against, which is still in the favour of the Panthers. And this is why the Panthers had a plus 107 points differential. The Warriors had a plus 21 points differential. So it's still in favour of them. But the only teams that the Warriors are behind defensively is the Raiders. No, sorry, not the Raiders. No, they had a better defense than the Raiders this year, the Warriors. They were behind the Storm, the Bulldogs, the Sharks, the Panthers. That's it. So the Warriors finished with the 5th best defense in the league this year, whilst the Panthers, they finished only behind the Storm, just as well, the Bulldogs, and that's it. The Storm and the Bulldogs. Is that it? Yeah. So the Panthers finished with the 3rd best defense in the league, and we've all seen that they've had problems with their defense throughout the year. So that's a worrying sign that even the Warriors' specialty here is their defense, and yet the Panthers still have a statistically better defense than them by 27 points. So Warriors finishing 5th defensively, Panthers finishing 3rd defensively, Warriors finishing 11th on attack, but the Panthers finishing 7th on attack? So that's why you'd be smart to tip the Panthers here and tip the Panthers well. But if you know rugby league this year, if you know what we can see, anything can happen, then that's why you've just got to kind of go with your gut feeling. But I don't think that this is a smart game to actually bet on. I think there's a lot of things that can happen here. So there you go, guys. That's my preview. I'm going to take I'm going to take an amazing game. We saw an incredible game yesterday. I'm going to take an amazing game where the Wires break the streak. But again, Warriors fans, I don't want you to get your hopes up too highly because I won't be tipping you next week. I think this would be your grand final, and that's provided you do win this game. I don't know who I'd tip between the Panthers and the Bulldogs. I probably would lean Bulldogs, but we'll get to that next week. But like I said, thumbs up, subscribe. Let's get to the chat. Let's see what you're saying, and let me know what you're thinking in the comment section. Let's move that down. Jeez, the chat's rolling fast, man. Chat's rolling fast. Let's move that bad boy down. Jay, where were you yesterday, son? We had people wondering if you'd been caught by the CCP. And I said, yeah, I reckon he has. I did think you came at one point, but I think you left at some stage. Did you? Anyway, I got to scroll back to the top. Oh, my gosh. Just scroll back to the top of this chat. Mate, I'm in yesterday. I'm in last year, basically. That's how much. There's so much chat here. I might be here tomorrow and still talking about the chat. Jay, I can't even see what Olivia said. Olivia, with the $8 donation, get on you, Olivia. It's another day, another dono. Come on, the Wires, knock these dreaded Panthers out. Well, no one wants to play the Panthers, that's for sure. No one wants to play the Panthers. The Warriors are the unlucky. The CCP love me. The Warriors are the unlucky team that have to be the first ones to get their shot at it. But you know what, Warriors? You can be that team. You know, it's all good. It's going to be difficult. And it's going to be tough, but guess what? You're in the fucking finals, baby. You are in the finals. Every game is going to be difficult. So you know what? If you're going to get given a difficult game, you know what? I would want the Panthers. I would want the Panthers. If you think you can win the comp this year, Warriors, then screw the rest of them. I want the Panthers. I don't care. I want them. Because I want to be the team to knock them out. And if you knock them out, that'll send waves across the league. Again, I probably won't be tipping you next week. But, and similar to like that Titans-Roosters game in 2021, I said if Titans win, then I'm still tipping Manly. If Roosters win, I'm still tipping Manly. And Manly ended up winning by 40 points against the Roosters. I think that would have happened to the Titans as well. So I do think this is like a grand final for the Warriors. But if the mentality from these Warriors players right now, and from Andrew Webster, and from the Warriors fan base and everyone should be, you know what, I want to knock these bastards out. I want to be the team to do it. Because then even if you don't win the comp this year, you'll still be regarded and still be remembered as a team that knocked the Panthers streak over. Now, is that fantastic? You know, make your own assumption, make your own opinions on if you find that the ending of a streak is an important factor to, you know, a successful season, right? I think that regardless, Warriors fans, you were tipped for the bottom four. You've ended up being basically in the top four for the most part of the season and still in the top eight where most Warriors fans didn't even have them, right? So it's a successful season regardless. I think this would be the cherry on top, even if you don't win, that you had a great year and then you knock this streak over. You're going to be hailed as heroes from the rest of the competition. And it's not because of, well, a lot of people hate the Panthers. From my perspective, I don't want the Panthers to get knocked off because I hate the Panthers. I don't care. I respect the success. I think they did it the correct way that we know of. I think from our perspective, we've seen them do it the correct way. They've developed underneath. It was a fantastic job. I respect them. But I want to see difference. I want to see change. And even if that is the Storm, I would still take that, even though they were the last team to win the premiership before the Panthers did. I just want to see change. I want to see somebody else get their limelight. Obviously, I'd have, in my order of what I would want the premiership to do, if I remove my bias from my mum in regards to the Sharks, I would want the Warriors to win because that'd be an incredible time to be alive. If I remove my, you know, if I take away everything and I just look on a pure spectacle level of the NRL, I would want the Warriors to win, Bulldogs second to win, Broncos third to win. This is the best form for the NRL, in my opinion, as a promotion, as a brand. I would want, then Raiders would be 4. I'd have them higher personally, though, but 4. And then you'd probably go Sharks, you'd go Roosters, you'd go Storm, you'd go Panthers. I think that's the best order from non-bias speaking. I think that's the best order for what the NRL benefit would receive, what the game would receive as a benefit from promotion and from acknowledgement overall. So that's why I had to go back at that guy last night who said the Bulldogs, the NRL doesn't want the Bulldogs in the grand final or to win the comp. It's an absolute bullshit statement. It's a bullshit statement with a completely unnecessary point of view because the NRL would absolutely want them to win the grand final or at least to be there. The best grand final that we could see on a brand level would be Bulldogs versus the Warriors. And it's not even close. It's actually not even close. If you want to go Warriors-Broncos, Broncos, sure, but I'd say Bulldogs, Warriors, it wouldn't even be close in regards to a brand promotion level, but I don't think that happens. I don't think we obviously get there. Anyway, I went down a little bit of a different path here, but thank you for the donation, Olivia. Shannon says, afternoon team, let's hope we have another cracker. Sean James, good afternoon, mate. Patch says, Warriors by 2 points. Adam Devon says, up the Wars. Get around your adsy. Ben says, this is an elimination final, which means whoever... Oh, for gosh sake, Ben, we're doing this again. We're doing this again. I'm timing you out just for the fun of it. Just because I feel like it, just because I feel like it. Sue me. Josie Parks, I think most of us are Wars fans tonight. I think so. Again, realistically, the Panthers should win this game. But I do have a gut feeling about the Warriors, and gut feelings throughout the year, I think I've been about 90% correct and 10% wrong, and I never usually have the guts to get behind the gut feeling, so I'm going to go with the gut feeling tonight, because I have been right with my gut more often than not, against the grain and against the favouritism, but I have always, I've usually gone with my head over my gut. And so that's why today I'll kind of go and I'll say the gut's right. We'll see. We will see. Oh no, what's happening here? Shannon says, you might be right, it's the Warriors, it's one fluky team, it would be the Warriors. Exactly. That's why I feel like if anything, this is the team we have no idea about. They just, for some reason, turn up when no one expects them to, and they don't turn up when everyone expects them to. And truly, I don't know what's happening there in the chat. I'm going to skip past a lot of those timeouts. Hunt says, Panthers just win the comp. They will smash the Dogs next week. Yeah, you're a Panthers fan, that's for sure. Royal Grand Majesty says, do you think the Panthers' reign ends here? I think there's a chance. Look, on a head level, I don't think so. On a gut level, I do think so. But on a head level, I have to say that I think the Panthers make, at very least next week, I don't know who I tip between them and the Bulldogs. I really don't. The Panthers did beat them 8-6. I don't give a shit about your 28-4 Bulldogs fans. I couldn't care less because it was 16 out of 17 Panthers players out. I think an early prediction, provided Stephen Crichton is okay, but I don't know. You guys will know more about that than me right now. I don't know. If he's playing, I probably take the Dogs. If he's not playing, I probably don't take the Dogs. So I don't think that the Panthers get past... I don't think they get past the... Would they play the Storm in Melbourne? Is the Panthers... No. No, they wouldn't. No, they'd play the Raiders or Broncos at either Suncorp or Canberra. Yeah. Josie Parsons was, please, we need your best game here. We need a whopping game for them. Jamesa says, need to bring your A game tonight, Warriors. Not just A game. A game loses the game. Jamesa, A+ game, son. You need an A+ game with the Warriors, that's for sure. That is for absolute sure. Why is this bloke just telling everyone to screw off and shit in the chat? I don't understand. Why? TI23, what are you doing, bro? I know the Bulldogs lost last night, man, but relax, man. Take it easy. Have a just nice little Coke Zero or grab a beer or something. Just relax, champion. Hearing me. You're going off your rocker in the chat. You're going off your rocker. Shane says, I always bag the Warriors, but I'm more nervous than I am about my Raiders. I always bag the Warriors, but I'm more nervous than I am about my Raiders. I don't know about the nervous part, but bagging the Warriors for what we've seen this year is absolutely fine. You are okay to criticise what you have seen in the last 2-3 months because the fans are criticising it. I'm going to criticise it. You can criticise it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and the opinion is based off of what we have straight up seen as a fact that they have fallen off from where they were. They were very high. And then now they finish in 6th, they were able to win a couple of games here and there to keep their position at 6th, but they're also very lucky the Panthers didn't play a full-strength team against the Bulldogs, which could have actually taken them out of the top 6. Now, the Panthers only finished one stop short of them, and even if they didn't have that 1 point, if they had just beaten the Cowboys, they would actually already be above the Warriors because they've got a better points differential. So, I think that you can criticise the Warriors. We're not insulting the club. We're not insulting the team itself, but we are insulting the style of play we've seen these last few months, and that is a valid thought process to have. Are you okay, TR23? I don't think he's okay. I don't think he's happy with the Bulldogs. I don't think he's a happy chappy with the old doggy woof last night. Jay says, how long until the game? I'm on my lunch break right now and hopeful to hear you commentate the first 10 minutes or so at least. Well, in about 20 minutes time, man. In 20 minutes time is when the the game will start, and then later on it's the 7:30 game between the Sharks and the Roosters, which I'll be starting up about an hour early as well. I'll start up an hour early for that one. So there'll be a 50-minute break in between streams. I usually, for regular season games, I go 15 minutes earlier. But for the big finals games, I'll always be an hour earlier to talk all things rugby league. Yeah, these guys are losing this plot in the chat. Margaret says, I know they've been eliminated. Who've been eliminated? Not Jack been eliminated. Now someone, at least say, let's go Manly. Okay, people have had a few too many brewskis here for the Saturday afternoon. To be fair, it's Saturday. You can have too many brewskis at 6 a.m. because it's 5 p.m. somewhere. Jaden says it's still a whole hour. Yep. Well, from now it's 20 minutes. RG Dix says how long till it starts? In 20 minutes time. Jaden says hopeful Sharks can win tonight, but I fear I can see a Roosters 1-12 win. I can also maybe sense a Broncos upset too. I can't see a Broncos upset, but I am tipping the Sharks. I am going to be tipping the Sharks. Paying the butts is up to Waz, baby. Keep the dream alive. Hit the snooze button. Exactly right. Shannon says 30-odd minutes. Judgy passes. Wonder if any Waz fans are going to execute their plans. Oh, I did see that. No, that's just from a guy on Instagram. Sione something. Yeah, he's always pretty antagonistic. He's a bit of a laugh, but he can be quite antagonistic to other content creators online. Jaden says, yeah, well, we lost against the Dragons, but that Dogs win is a good... Yeah, we'll talk about the Sharks in the next game, bro. At the moment, we couldn't care less about that right this second, but we'll talk about the Sharks Roosters for a whole hour before the game starts. So, just hold it for them. Hold it for then. Josie Parts says, I hope we see an upset. We'd lovely to see. Shannon says, this is the game. If there is an upset, it's this game. This is what I'm saying, yeah. Pain in the butt says Waz crowd will get the Waz over the line. That's not necessarily true, though. I hope you're right. I do. I hope you're right, but that's not necessarily true. Why do you have complete faith in the Warriors' home, statistic? Because they don't have an incredible record at home, and they lost to the Titans a couple of weeks ago. There, they lost to the Panthers with 5 of their Origin players out in New Zealand. So it's like, whilst I love it, and it's going to be a sold-out crowd today. It's going to be incredible. There's no necessary proof to say that the Warriors home crowd will just simply get them there. Now, I've been to Mount Smart. I've been there. I've enjoyed it as an opposition fan, and that was last year, and we won that game. It was 27-24 to the Titans on Anzac Day. That was our first win of the season. So our first win of the season 8 rounds in. We're travelling away to New Zealand on Anzac Day, a very special day in the calendar for us Australians and New Zealanders. And we still found a way to win that. And I was there, and I can tell how fierce and animosity the atmosphere is of that ground. It's incredible. I love it. It was awesome to be at, and then awesome to win. But the point is the Warriors lost that despite that. So I would love to agree with you. I've just seen plenty of instances where this Warriors team doesn't get up for the home crowd, and they don't do it. But again, I've gone with my gut feeling, and I've tipped them today. So there's a real common kind of a real common discussion where people say the Warriors are undefeatable at home. They are unbeatable at home, which just isn't necessarily true. Oh, damn! The Titans women's won, did they? Damn, that's awesome, because that puts them into the finals. That's just put the Titans women's into the finals. They were losing 16-8 when I started this stream. And with that win, they actually go into the finals. So, Eels fans, eat your heart out. Gee whiz. Their men's team did us a favour, but we didn't do their women's team any favour. Dearie me. Dearie damn well me. Here on the Titans women. Kipsaki says, Jesus is king, go the Warriors. Absolutely, man. God bless you. Hunt says, Panthers are going to pump... Okay, that's going to skip down. I'm going to have to go back up here. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let me move that bad boy. Jeez, there's a lot to kind of go back to. Hunt says, Panthers are going to pump them today and pump an injured Bulldogs team next week. Yep, you're a Panthers fan. New Zealand Leota says, Lecker is in the centres and Kate Wara is in the second row. Late changes. Yes. Yeah, Shannon says, are we on today? Michael says, Warriors going to play. See to Dingo. The Dingo says, I've been thinking riff easy all week, but it's NRL 2025. Anything can happen at home and count it out. They'll be up for this big time. The Wires would love to see them end the streak. That's why everyone's going to be watching this. Literally, that is why everyone's going to be watching this. I know it's a finals game. Not everyone watches every single finals game. Obviously, we do. We stream every single game. But everyone will watch this because they're going to watch every game the Panthers are in to see if the Panthers get knocked out. It is such a big thing. It is going to be every NRL fan will watch again. Not even necessarily hate watch the Panthers, but they want to be there for the moment it ends. It was great to be here for the moment that it happened, but also people are going to, be there for the moment it ends. So whether that's this year, that's next year, the year after, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a big moment. It's going to be a crazy, shocking moment when we do see the Panthers lose, and that's their last game of the season. As Moneyball says, people only care if you win your last game of the season. So I'm happy with the Titans then because they won their last game of the season. But the point is the actual, final game of the season in the playoffs, right? So and in the finals. But the point is everyone's going to be here to watch this. Everyone will. Olivia says he thinks I timed out yesterday. I don't know. I probably did. Liddark Fire says the Titans women's team is playing finals. Let's go. Yeah, fire up, Liddark Fire. Vasper says I'm just here because excited for the Sharks tonight. Yeah, well, we'll be live for a whole hour before that, man. A whole hour before that. Ben says it'll be Chooks vs Bronx in the grand final. Okay, you get timed out. Michael says Warriors come out to play. Cooper Jobson says the Bulldogs Warriors grand final would be crazy. Imagine how rowdy the crowd would be. It'd be dangerous. It'd be dangerous to go to that game. It would be a dodgy one because Warriors fans, they would get leery. Bulldogs fans, we know they're leery. God bless either New Zealand or God bless Belmore because one would cease to exist the day that happened. Awkward because the Titans on first on the ladder. Yeah, they're undefeated, mate. Undefeated. They play the Broncos tomorrow at Seabus Super Stadium. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Olivia says they're first on the ladder. Exactly. Exactly right. Is this women? No, this is the men, mate. No. You gotta watch the rugby league. I don't think you've watched much rugby league this year because the Titans haven't lost a single game. And you know what? If you prove me wrong, did they lose the game against the Tigers? Because that's the last game. So if I was wrong about the Titans being on top of the ladder, which is the official ladder right now, then surely they would have lost their last game of the season. And I don't think they did. I don't think they did, mate. I don't think so. Scott says, hope you're well. I'm in party mode. Storm in a good position. Hughes back in 2 weeks. Life's good. Oh, Hughes is back in 2 weeks. That's great. Hopefully Munster is all sweet and great to go. That's going to be a massive game between either the loser of Raiders Broncos and then the winner of Sharks Roosters. So it's either Sharks Roosters, Raiders or Broncos that the Storm will play in Melbourne. I think you've got to be pretty confident about Sharks. I think you'd have to be pretty confident about the Broncos. And I think you'd have to be really confident about the Roosters. I just think if the Raiders lose to the Broncos tomorrow and then get to that prelim, that'd be scary against the Raiders for the Storm, especially with the Raiders having beaten the Storm this year. Hans says I'm a Sharks fan. Well, it's really strange that you circle jerking the Panthers as heavily as you are right now. DJ Max says Panthers win. Tylan says biggest Warriors fan right now, bring the upset. DJ Max says this is Banville. Be careful, folks. Probably, yeah. No, this is, if you say something stupid, then you're probably going to get the old time out. Joseph says, well, I was going to call in Artie from the All Blacks. Well, the delay is more than 10 minutes. Yeah, probably, man. I'm scrolling through the chat. We're nearly at the front of it, though. But this is what's going to happen when we get to the finals, and I do try to read as many comments as I possibly can out. Game starts in 13 minutes time, guys. Thumbs up, subscribe. We're trying to hit 40,000. We're trying to absolutely punch in 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we're about 2,900 away. So let's keep it moving. We've got the finals, and then we've got the internationals coming up as well, which is going to be absolutely gigantic. Maybe because I'm watching from the USA. No, probably because I'm just scrolling back through the chat so that I can get up to date with it all. Lagan says, g'day all, just bought my family pack grand final tickets. Bulldogs or not, it should be an amazing experience. You would know Blaze from 2023. Well, I've been to multiple grand finals, man. If it's a good game, it's a great experience. Panthers Eels, when I went to in 2022, was not fantastic because I was sitting on the Eels side, and the Eels obviously lost that game very well. If it's a great game, which I would assume it will be, if it's a great game between the Panthers and Broncos of 2023, then yeah. Well, and you've got to remember as well, the Titans women played on that day. I actually probably wouldn't have been at that grand final if the Titans women weren't playing on that day. So I'm really grateful the Titans women got to the grand final. They may have lost, but it was a superb day regardless in the men's with that Broncos versus Panthers game. But yeah, no matter what, the experience is unbelievable. However, if it's a dead grand final, then it can get a really long day, especially if you're not. If it's dead grand final, the only people who enjoy it are the ones who win it. Obviously. If the Titans win a grand final and they won a dead grand final, I wouldn't give a shit what anyone else thinks. So I'm going to enjoy that day like it's the greatest day in the history of the planet. So the only people who enjoy it are them. I don't think that happens this year. I think no matter what, we'll see a fantastic grand final. But you do, like I always say, the two best teams sometimes you can see with them both being the best, one team just is that little bit better. And when it's a little bit better, they can actually blow it out by being that little bit better as the best. Because if you pinpoint a problem and then you expose that problem and then you take that lead and then you drop them down from, the best to like just slightly less than you, then you can really pull it away. And that's what you see in grand finals a lot. Shannon says, Ericsson used to be called Mount Smart Stadium. Literally lives on Walls Road. He's at the game. We're both in the original Auckland Warriors ad. I don't even know what we're talking about here. Chelsea passes, no, he's reading chat. He missed it. It's not delay. Martha Musa says, hello, I feel like this game will be close. Hopefully golden point. I think if it's a golden point game, Warriors fans, they might lose the plot. We might see a lot of Warriors fans have a heart attack, and God bless them, because that will be the most excruciating experience to know at home in a knockout elimination finals game. You've never won the competition before. You've had a really tough last couple of months, and then to get into whoever loses. If you lose in golden point of any finals game, it is the most distraught experience you will ever go through. Like, truly, it is just horrific. And it's like, that's why, regardless of my distaste for the Broncos as a club, I will always feel for their fans who went through 2023, and I will definitely feel for their fans for 2015. I enjoyed it and I celebrated it. It was great fun. I enjoyed it greatly. But if I put myself in the perspective of Broncos fans, I feel so sympathetic for them, because that would have been, if I put myself and think, if that was the Titans, my God, dude, one, I'd get absolutely roasted online, but also two, it would just be the most horrifying experience on the planet. And we've seen it a lot with that 2016 Storm Sharks, like the Storm to lose that one in the the last 10 minutes with Andrew Fafita, and then have that breakaway where they should have scored but they didn't pass it. We saw Darren Lockyer kick a field. Well, it was 15-8 in 2006 kind of deal. At least I got that one. But the point is that when you see that kind of stuff happening, my gosh, to eliminate you based off of that is just excruciating. Even to watch as just a passionate fan of the game. I think Melbourne Storm will make the grand final. I think so too, Steve. DJ Max says, okay, thank you. Steve says match starting in 20. Match starts in 8 minutes' time. 8 minutes' time. Highlands fans Warriors 18-12 prediction. Hey, you can actually support them today, Highlands fan, because they're playing at home. They are playing at home, mate. Yeah. Good to see for you, mate. You can support your team today. Well, your team. Sam says, hey, mate, I missed your stream yesterday. I've been working nights all week. Yeah, it was a good game. It was a great game where the Storm just obviously came out on top in the end. I couldn't believe in the AFL, by the way. Like, the Adelaide Crows getting done over by the Hawks is hilarious. That was, for the first place team. I want to remind people, not even remind, I want to let people know who are NRL fans and don't watch the AFL. In the AFL this year, we saw the Adelaide Crows come first. They were the best team in the regular season. Well, they just got done out in straight sets. They just lost in the first two games of the finals. They're out. The team who came first, that is literally like looking at the Raiders, and then the Raiders lose to the Broncos tomorrow, and then the Raiders lose next week to the Roosters or the Sharks. That's what's happened in the AFL. It was, and not only did the Crows get beaten, they got whooped in both games. Got whooped in both games. How does that even work? How do you go through the whole season in first? I think it was the first time since like the 80s or 70s in the AFL where can someone who's a stats man in the chat, can you tell me if there's ever been a team in first position that's been done over in straight sets in the NRL? Because I can't remember a time. Monkey Boy Ty says, Broncos definitely should have won 2023. They were dominant early and just let it go. No, incorrect. There's no definitely should have won. No, that's not correct. There's 80 minutes in a football game. There is 80 minutes in a football game. Why should they definitely have won? At the end of the day, the Panthers and Broncos were quite even for the first half. It was the 40 to 60 minute spurt the Broncos killed them in. I just want to quickly go and clarify this. It was the 40 to 60 minute spurt. Again, I was at this game, but yeah, let's go quickly have a look here. So it was 17 minutes in, so it was 6-0 Panthers, and then the Broncos scored to make it. And then it was 8-0 Panthers with the Cleary penalty. And it was 8-6 to the Panthers at half-time. So the only period the Broncos actually won that game was between the 40th and the 60th minute, from the 44, the 52, and the 54. It was a spurt of 10 minutes. Outside of that, the Panthers actually the better team in the game. It's just that the Broncos and if you want to add in the 38th minute because it's still close to the 44 and whatnot, but the Broncos, they won a 18, 20-minute stanza between the 35th minute and the 55th minute. And then outside of that, the Panthers actually were the better team there. So it was just so dominant in that 20-minute stanza that people believe the Broncos were probably the team that should have won it, and because they were up by such a significant margin. But we all know in the NRL nowadays, 24-8 is a fuck all score. Like, that means nothing. 24-8 is so small. It's not incredibly small, but it can be small. It can be done over very, very quickly. It actually means nothing. So unless you're up 24-8 with 2 minutes to go, 24-8 can absolutely mean nothing. 20 years ago, 24-8 at the 70th minute means game over. Nowadays, 24-8, you can see 2 tries scored in the 71st minute and the 73rd minute, and they've still got 7 minutes to go to score a third try to win the game. So nowadays, the game is so fast that things change really quickly. Bus says, would you try to get to a Suns grand final? No, man, no, I wouldn't. I'm not as passionate about the old Sunnies, but I would love to watch it. I do think they get beaten by the Lions today, but I would love to see the Sunnies get up for them. Obviously, my team is Geelong, but the older I've gotten, the more I've connected with my local area of the Gold Coast, so I would prefer to see the Suns win a grand final over Geelong, but I will still always have that love for Geelong, and they'll always still be my team. It's just I'm not from Geelong. It was only my stepdad who got me into them before the Suns even existed. So that's why I can kind of disassociate and return to, my home. But I'll always have the love for that there. Jossie passes, what a game. Wasn't even close. Yeah. Shannon says, back in New Zealand when the Warriors first came out, there was a TV ad, stupid bloody ad, only said, we are the Warriors, Warriors, Warriors. I'm old. Fair enough. Don't know why you brought it up, but sure. Lissiati says, I'm personally a Waz fan, but I reckon it's going to be a hard game. We'll push through. I hope so. It's definitely a hard game. This is the finals. Every game is going to be hard. Every game is going to be difficult. The Waz, Broncos and Dogs both lost their last 2 grand final appearances as well as us, Waz. Sure, not sure the relevance though. The question that I was asking is, has there ever been a team in the NRL that has come first and then lost in straight sets? Vasper says Dragons 2009, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs in 93, Eastern Suburbs in 1981, Manly Seagulls 1971, St George Dragons in 1967. Geez, the mods are going to have a tough time with those spam accounts today. So Dragons 2009, really? Dragons 2009? Really? So Dragons, obviously Storm beat the Eels that year. Dragons lost to the Broncos 24-10 in the second week, and they lost to the Eels 25-12. Oh, they were the unlucky team. They were the unlucky team that had to play the Jared Hayne, primetime Jared Hayne of 2009 in the first week, and then got done over by the Bronx. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They finished in first, the Bulldogs finished in second, and funnily enough, the Titans finished in third. The old Gold Coast Titans, son. Finished in third that year. Sam says the most open finals in recent memory. Agree. Raiders can win it. The Storm can win it. I don't think the Bulldogs can win it, but sure, Adam in. The Broncos, I could see a world. The Sharks, I can see a world. I cannot see a world with the Warriors. I can see a world with the Panthers, and I actually can't see a world with the Roosters, despite everyone's hype on them. I think the Roosters get knocked out today, personally. Logan says, of course, it's Adelaide, those weird outsiders. Barker says, let's go on the Warriors, up the Waz. Royal Grand Majesty says, there's been so many comebacks this year. Halftime leads almost means nothing unless you're blowing the opposition out of the water. Yeah, well, you know what? Give credit to the originators, the founders, the first investors of the comeback, the Gold Coast Titans. By letting teams come back into the game and get the win, we were the trendsetters. We were the trendsetters of this phenomenon, mate. So you give us credit. You give the Titans credit for the trendsetters that we are by allowing the game. We changed the game. We changed the game, the Gold Coast Titans, by allowing teams. We were like, you know what? Let's change the game here. Let's have an impact. We're going to allow teams to come back from 26-0 down. You've got to give credit where credit's due. Yeah, credit. Froggy Sports says, hello. Panthers won at 12. Absolutely, but Titans by 1. That's what I like to see. Steve says, Suns win. I don't think so. I've got the Lions to win relatively comfortably, but I would love to see the Suns to win. Bucket says, and then 2010 Dragons beat the Roosters in the grand final after 2009. Yeah, I know, because that was the year my Titans got into the preliminary final, lost to the Roosters 26-12 at Suncorp Stadium. We were the home team, but we had to play at Suncorp. And then, the Roosters ended up playing the Dragons. I did think that whoever played the Dragons would have lost that, so it was actually relatively beneficial the Titans lost in the preliminary final. But obviously, it's not beneficial. You want to see them in the grand final. I just think it might have been a bigger score, and the Dragons did win that grand final quite well. Hughes back in 2 weeks. DJ Max not a happy chap. He's just dearie me. I don't know why you're criticising the removal there. Do you realise that that's a spam account that just spams about their website, which will give you viruses? That Rugby Championship on rugbyhd.com account. You will see many of those. The reason why that gets removed and hidden is because that is going to give you viruses if you go to that website. So they're actually doing a good job. Olivia wasn't even the one who removed him. The last time Olivia removed someone was actually all the way back for the Rugby Championship one, which is the same shit. So they're protecting you, man. They're protecting people from clicking on the links that will give viruses to your computer, and they're caring about it. So, no, there's no problem with what Olivia's doing there. Other than that, you're the only one who's been removed in the recent time here in this chat. It's only you. It's only you, man. Nate says 32-8, 2010 are the memories. Lagan says, can you give a specific example of how the Titans are the originals? Maybe an example from, let's say, 2023. I will give you an example of we'll see in 5 minutes. How about that? How about that one? How about that one, you dog? How about that one? Ben says, we are the pride of South Australia. You are not. Acidic says, hey, Blaze, how your day been? I had a great breakfast this morning here in Ho Chi Minh. Fantastic breakfast. Unbelievable. But even though it was a Hanoi dish, it was a dish from Hanoi, but great food. And it's raining a bit now, but it doesn't matter because we're inside waiting for the rugby league to start, baby. Waiting for the rugby league start. Yeah, Olivia, old mate was complaining about you timing people out, even though you weren't even the one timing people out. Liziati says the Wires are going to either have a really good first half and sack it in the last half, or they keep the momentum up and beat Penrith. I think they need to be good for the 80 if they want to win this game. I'm a greedy, spoiled Storm fan, so I don't want Pezzett to leave us, but man, he's too good to be floating around reserve grade for the next 5 years or so. Yeah, I think you should be nice and just give him to the Titans. I think that'd be gracious of you. That'd be gracious. Nate says the only links to trust on here are from Jay and Dazza. You gotta be careful with those links. I'd nearly click on the virus link before I click on those links. Scott says Titans went to the grand final in 2023. Facts. Yes, they did. That is a fact. Chris says, Blaze, I'm stuck on my tips for Sharks to Roosters. Any quick tip for Sharks? A6 Uncle says, yeah, mate, seen your post. Your breakfast on Instagram looked great. Yeah, no, it was good. Oh, my gosh, it was unbelievable. And it was only, I don't have my phone. My phone's on charge up there. It was only 75,000 Vietnamese dong. How do I equate that? All right, 3 minutes until the game gets going. They're about to come out to the field. So all that you saw to AUD was $4.28. All of that was $4.28. Plus I had a drink, which was probably about 30 cents or 40 cents. No, sorry, maybe about 70 cents or so. So that entire breakfast cost me like $5. You know, that's how cheap this place is. It's absolutely, like, ridiculous. Monkey Muay Thai says, Pezzett is a talent. Hopefully Storm don't let him go unless he wants to come to the Warriors. No, I think it's time he goes to the Titans, mate. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. Now, this is a serious channel here, Monkey Muay Thai. Let's not start this propaganda. And it sounds like propaganda to me. Absolutely. So I think that we should be really serious here on the channel and say Titans. A6 Ankle says, wow, 66-10 tonight, Blaze. Is it possible? No. No, it's not possible. It's not possible. Oh, it's pouring down rain. Well, I tell you what, Warriors fans. I know you lost to the Bulldogs in pouring rain. It was awful. These are awful conditions right now. But I tell you what, Warriors fans. The Panthers are very well known for playing shithouse in rain. They are very well known. I remember that game against the Tigers a couple of years back at Bathurst. Poured down rain. The Tigers ended up getting the spoon that year. The Tigers beat them. I tell you, this gives you a little bit of something. Gives you a little bit of an oomph, son. Gives you a little bit of an oomph. A little bit of an oomph. Yeah, these spammers, the bigger the streams are with the finals and whatnot happening, man, at this time you're going to see a lot of these spam accounts, unfortunately, that come in. And I'm actually probably going to, maybe if I slow the chat down, if I slow the chat to like a comment every comment every... hold on a second. Let me see what I can do here. Slow mode, not every 2... I'll do it every 5 seconds, maybe. Slow mode. Does this... Let me know in the chat, Jay and Moz, and that if that slow mode's on. Send a message. So you can send a message every 5 seconds. That'll take away a lot of these clown spammers. It'll take away a lot of those clown spammers there. So we'll try that, and then if hopefully it works. Let me know if things get messed up. Wet Finals footy. Ooh, yeah, Wet Finals footy. Again, the Warriors got absolutely smackaruno. They got smackaruno deluxe. Deluxe when it came to that Bulldogs game. But the Panthers are not known for good wet weather footy. They are not known. Especially because it takes away their speed and it takes away a lot of what Nathan Cleary can do. But Nathan Cleary is very good in regards to slowing up that kick, which wet weather does help. Ben says, is this the first slow mode in BK history? Well, you're going to get a slow mode of 5 minutes just because I can. Mods aren't affected by the slow mode. Is that right? Oh, good. Aspect says, I want Penrith to win for the point next week would be a belter. Well, I think next week would be a belter anyway. I think Warriors Bulldogs will be a very good game anyway. I understand what we saw a couple of weeks ago, but if it's on a dry track, I think it's a close game, especially in the finals. Very different game to a regular season matchup. I know it will be the core stadium, which is where that game was played as well, but I think that either way it could be a big time game. So the Panthers have run out onto the field here. The Warriors are about to come out and fire it on up. Let's refresh that. Refresh that little bad boy, and we're good. I think that will update live when it starts. Aspect says, agree, but I think Penrith Dogs would be better. Sure, I think you're leaning specifically on the 8-6 Penrith Bulldogs game, but I think that they both could equally be just as big. And I think promotion-wise, if we don't get the grand final of Bulldogs versus Warriors, which we can't, then promotion-wise, Bulldogs-Warriors next week would be the best promotion for the NRL across the comp. No, George, let's go up the wires. Lizzie Archer says the Raiders are either going to get to the finals or lose against the Storm or the Doggies. Okay, well, there's not any kind of new information there. You've either said they get to the grand final or they lose to the two teams that they're going to have to play on the way. I don't understand. Anyway, Josie Pass says, Waz, turn up, bro, please. Monkey Moist, so let's go to Waz. Royal Graham Majesty says, I wonder if Dylan Edwards makes all of his catches in the rain. It's a great point. He's been really out of form. He has been extremely out of form, Dylan Edwards. But we are underway for the first elimination final of 2025, and the Warriors are going to start with the ball. Fisher Harris gets the ball to the 15. Who does better in the rain, lads? Who will do better in the pouring down rain? It is awful conditions. It is torrential rain right now. It is torrential rain. Aspect says, I think it's raining at the game. Not sure, though. It is torrential, mate. This is like a damn well cyclone at this point. Is there a tsunami in Auckland? It's like a damn well tsunami. So Jackson Ford rolls it back to penalty of the Wars. Penalty of the Warriors early doors. Penalty of the Warriors early doors. To Kiwi dudes, I'm just happy we were in the finals. Doesn't happen often. I just want to see a great effort. Let's go Warriors. Sure, I agree with you. Happened 2 years ago, though. You were in the preliminary finals 2 years ago. Actually, can the Warriors end up playing the Bronx? I guess only if the Broncos win tomorrow, the Warriors could end up playing the Bronx. Oh, far out, Warriors. They didn't kick the ball out over the sideline. Oh, and they've let... Oh, Paul Adamalte's away. Oh, he's taking out the 35. You are actually off your rocker, New Zealand. That is actually insanity. They get a penalty in the first minute, don't kick the ball out in the fall, and then allow Paul Adamolte for a 30-metre run. That is actually insanity. So now it's Dylan Edwards with the ball 25 metres out. You may as well just knock the ball on the first tackle, is what's happened here, Warriors. So 20 metres away from the line, they give it to Isaiah. That's just so greedy, and guards getting too many metres. You just need to play simple footy this early doors. But that's finals nerves. Nathan Cleary kicks it through, and the ball will sit nicely, and that's going to be a dropout. I cannot believe, Warriors, that you have turned a penalty in the first 30 seconds of the game inside your own 30 to the Panthers getting the ball back from you, not kicking the ball over the sideline, and now the Panthers will get a dropout. No, it's absolutely just wild work. Mitchell says, doing that in the finals is a death wish. Against the four-time premiers, yeah, you reckon? Against the four-time premiers, they will go for the long kick, though. And now Moses Leota, he's going to run this ball back to the 35. And the Panthers, they usually do click it up a notch in the finals. So let's see if they've got that straight-up ferocity to break the hearts of the Warriors here early. Jump starts, kind of was. Seems as the Wires are screwed. Chelsea Buzz, that's such a Wires kick. It was. Isaiah Yo at the 25, and now they'll be Lindsay Smith at the 20, third tackle. Perfect start for Penrith. Scary signs for the Wires. I don't think it's a perfect start for the Panthers. It's just an awful start for the Warriors. Panthers haven't done anything yet. Panthers haven't done jack shit yet, but it's a good start for them from the Warriors, not based off of their own stuff, though. So the Panthers now, Scotty Sorensen will be 8 metres away from the line, fifth tackle. Fifth tackle, 8 metres out. Brad Schneider, Nathan Cleary, short ball into the line. Blaze Lungi, knock on Panthers. Knock on Panthers. Good work on the defence there from the Warriors. And, we're going to the bunker here. This might be a penalty Panthers. Can we just confirm if there's a professional foul, maybe? Oh, no, you haven't done this, Warriors. Who didn't kick the ball out the full? Who didn't kick it out? It's your fault. So, Tanner Boyd there, that's fine. And then this will be close. This might be simultaneous. This might be a fine. It's close, but I think it's simultaneous. It's no professional foul. To be fair, he knocks that. This shouldn't be a professional foul. If anything, it's a knock on Wires, but that shouldn't be a professional foul. There's no way. Dallin touches the ball first. And now they're going to clear any touch from Casey. So I think they're going to say knock on here, Warriors. They've got to clear the contact. That's fine. Oh, unless that goes backwards. I think they'll call this knock on from Watinsa Lesniak for sure. Are they trying to say... They're looking to see if this goes backwards. Oh! This is going to go Warriors' way! They're going to say Dallin Watinsa Lesniak knocks this ball backwards and then Casey McLean touches it for a knock on. That's a crazy call! That's a crazy call! I don't necessarily disagree with it, but that's a huge call. That's a huge call. Nate says, what the how's that not bad? That's a crazy call. They would always call that a knock on quite literally 100% of the time. And then now it's made it 99% of the time because they've called that knocked back from Watinsa Lesniak and then knocked on from Casey McLean. So he's changed the on-field call. That's actually, I'm not necessarily unhappy with it on what maybe would have happened, but then again, you have to. That's a really big call, man. That's a big home crowd call, that, because normally you would see that be called as a knock on every day of the week from Watinsa Lesniak. Laurie says, Blaze, after this stream, watch the Wallabies Argentina game. What an insane game. Well, I've got to watch the Sharks Roosters after this. Sharks Roosters elimination final will be live for that. So Wade Egan gives it up to Fisher Harris, then to Harris to Vida, and he'll be at the 50 on fifth tackle. Sam's 0% chance of Wires winning. Disagree with you. Fifth tackle now. Samuel Healy goes to Tanner Boyd. And Tanner Boyd now, he'll put that one up into the air. That will... Oh, there's no way. Oh, I thought that went out in the full there for a second. I was going to say there's no way that ball went out in the full. But yet when he needed to kick the ball out in the full, he didn't. I thought it was going out in the full. Ben says that was a definite knock on. Sean says, explain it again, mate. Long story short, man, it was a very, very bold and big call that went against the team that was actually receiving the original clarification about a professional foul. It wasn't a professional foul, but they said Watinsa Lesniak knocks the ball backwards, which is controversial to say, and then Casey McLean knocks it on. But they always call that as a knock on against Watinsa Lesniak, so it's just it's different. Isaiah Yo is going to kick this ball, which ends up being an awful one, and Watinsa Lesniak will get this ball to the 20, then to the 25 on first tackle. That's kind of the best way that I can describe it too. If you're confused, it's because we're all kind of confused. Good hit there from Brad Schneider, but Chance Mill clocks out of the 30. To the 30, Laurie says, "Wires, we need those 50-50 calls." You do. You definitely do. They definitely do. And now Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, he will get this ball here to the 40 on third tackle. The ref might be a Warriors. That'd be a first, wouldn't it? Right near Corey will get this ball to the 50 on fourth tackle. Yep. Close game. Yeah, definitely close game. So Warriors now, Aaron Clark, he'll be at the 40 on fit tackle. Wade Egan, he goes out to Harris Tavita. Harris Tavita at the 35. He'll put that up into the air here with a good chance for Roger. But the Panthers knock it on. Panthers knock it on. The Warriors will get an attacking opportunity here. Paul Adamotti drops the ball in the wires. They come on the attack. They're not usually good on the attack, but they are on the attack. Big mistake there from Paul Adamotti, and the Warriors will be 25 metres away here from the Panthers line. Chalky says this will be full of mistakes this game. You would assume so. With the pouring down wet weather conditions that we're seeing, there's going to be a lot of nerves in this first 10 minutes specifically. Oh, there's going to be... Who's coming off here? HIA for Brad Schneider. So who's going to come into their hooker? So Brad Schneider will have to... Oh, Luke Summerton's going to come into their hooker. He was originally meant to be the hooker. Schneider will be off for the next 15 minutes with HIA. It's a big switch up considering that the Warriors will be on attack now. Monkey Muay Thai says, let's go to Waz. Talking this will be full of mistakes. Sean says, go to Waz. Aspect says, Dalmatini Lesniak, please score with his sexy mullet. It's a big old sexy mullet that. But Tanner Boyd to roll this ball into the scrum. New Zealand Leota says, Waz need to go to RTS side. That's the best way for the Warriors to try. What? So you want them to try and piece apart Paul Adamotti? Well, I think that you got Dalmatini Lesniak in the air against Brian To'o. You know, Brian To'o is one of the best wingers in the competition, but is susceptible under the high ball with a good pressure from a taller winger, which obviously Watini Lesniak is. Not too taller than him, I guess, but he's not like Daniel Tupou or Xavier Coates or Nwanga Tawase. But the point is, you do like to, if you're going to go down Brian To'o's side, you kick it up into the air. Third tackle now, 8 metres away from the line. Wade Egan, he gives it out the back into Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd, short ball, Aaron Clark. And Aaron Clark will be 7 metres away, 4 tackle. 4 tackle, Wade Egan, Tanner Boyd. Not really the play there from the Warriors. Fit tackle, 5 metres out. This hasn't been an incredible set. Well, that's a 6 again. That should have been called every day of the week, but they didn't. And Harris Tavita, he'll kick this ball into a good area. Good chase through here. Drop ball for the Panthers, and 6 again come out for the Warriors. That's going to be a 6 again for the Warriors here, 10 metres out. It's going to be 6 again for the Warriors, 10 metres out. You're going to see those drop balls here today. Just put the ball up into the air into a good area. And Paul Adamotti is the one who drops it again, mind you. Paul Adamotti has dropped it 2 times in a row. Oh, no, it's Isaac Tungo. So they were looking at Adamotti. Oh, okay, because Adamotti picks the ball up, but it is Isaac Tungo who knocks the ball on, yeah. Feel like close to the line, Casey and To'o should swap on 4 to avoid the To'o ambush. Well, Brian To'o's still a better defender than Casey, though. By a decent stretch as well. Oh, no, Warriors. Oh, no. Oh, it's a penalty to the Warriors. Take the 2. Every day of the week, you take the 2. Every single day of the week and twice on the Saturdays, you take the 2. There is no chance in wet weather. Oh, Biffo! Someone throw it up again, you sons of bitches! Someone throw it up again! Bushka! Biffo! Get the Biffos in the chat. Get the Biffos in the chat. Deary me. Someone throw an uppercut. Stop throwing handbags. Jazz, take the 2. In a game like this, you definitely take the 2. You definitely take the 2 here. Nathan Cleary was very much offside. It's a clear penalty. And in wet weather conditions, in a finals game, you take the points on offer. And, Leota going to Fisher Harris here. Leota going to Fisher Harris, the 2X front row forwards. That's hilarious. That is actually so funny. Obviously, Fisher Harris has won 4 premierships in a row with the Penrith Panthers. They're not taking the 2. Are you crazy? Are you crazy, Warriors? Take the 2. Yeah, they are going to take the 2. I was going to say, that's wild work. They're waiting for a kick into that was going to be wild work if they didn't take the 2 here. All right. Warriors. Oh, Warriors. Here they come. They're about to take the lead 2-0 because you know why? Can I ask the chat why you think the Warriors are about to lead 2-0? Not just because of the penalty. Not just because of the penalty. I want to know why you believe that the Warriors are about to take a 2-0 lead. Sean says it's a man's game. Sometimes you get cranky. And that's exactly right, Jossie Pass. That is exactly right. Tanner Boyd does not miss. He never misses. It is the Dragons' way, Nath. He don't miss, Funny Uncho. It's not possible. It's just not possible. And there we have it. Because guess what? It does not Misamundo is 2-0 to the Warriors. 8 minutes into the game. This has felt like 20 minutes, but it's been only 8 minutes here. It has felt like... well, the game started at 1:05 for my time, and it's now 1:19, so 14 minutes later, and it's been 8 minutes, so that's, I guess, why. Laurie says, "Why is fighting tonight? Bring the biffo, let's go." Well, it was Moses Leota. It was Moses Leota that was really kickstarting that biffo. He wanted to go with his old ex-front row teammate in Fisher Harris. All right. Go to Waz. Sean Edwards says, well, at least they took a lead. Dylan Edwards, obviously, to kick this ball off. You need to see him. Because the Panthers in the last couple of weeks, as I said before the stream, before the game started, the Panthers are a good first half team, but not really a good second half team. So this is a bit of a worry. The early doors, the Warriors have been able to get on top here. 10 minutes into the first half, guys. 30 minutes to go with the first half. Hit that like button and subscribe. And there we go, Jade. That just proved to me that we were able to stop that spam, the spam accounts there from spamming, because he wasn't able to do more than just one comment. And penalty to the Warriors. Huge start here for Warriors. Huge. Penalty to the Warriors. Yeah, huge. Timmy Cahill, I saw that. Seb Watson says, "Can I have my 5-minute timeout? Thank you, please." Yeah, no, we will provide you with that one, Seb. We'll see in 5 minutes, mate. And we will expect an apology once you get back from that 5-minute timeout for your disastrous effort of telling someone to put their life savings yesterday on Josh King anytime try scorer as a lock. For anyone who doesn't know, someone asked in the chat yesterday for a guaranteed lock on a bet on last night's game, and Seb Watson said Josh King anytime try scorer, put the house on it. So, unfortunately, he does have to receive a 5-minute timeout here today, and then we will expect an apology. Second tackler at the 45. Yeah, Seb owned his timeout. I like it. No, you got to back it. You know, he gets it. He gets it. Still have to give him it. We can't be too nice for you, but respect that he took his timeout with glee. So, Jackson Ford, forward tackle now at the 28. I bet not hear Waz fans blame the ref at full time. Well... The no knock on for Tenzi Lesnet was interesting. Aside that, the penalty was absolutely correct. Here we go, Marata Niokore, they're going to be 15 metres out. There's no debating that the penalty for the 2-pointer wasn't correct just then. Nathan Cleary was clearly offside. Nathan Cleary was clearly offside. Warriors! Oh, it's a drop ball! Oh, I don't know. This could be a dropout or a try. I think it's going to be a dropout. Jeez, the Panthers can't catch a ball to save their lives right now. They're going to have to check this. They are going to have to check this, whether this may be a try or not. At least they still will. You know it'll happen. So you got no try. Just want to review, there's no grounding from the Warriors, but I'm pretty certain this will be a dropout here. Yeah, the kick has been in great area and putting a lot of pressure on the Panthers. And... it's such a hard... Jackson Ford again as well. And he's just knocked that ball on into Blaze Salungi. And then where's the ball? Bounced off Jackson Ford's head. That's fine. Playing through. And then Chance is going to chase this. It just comes down to Scotty Sorensen. Yeah, Dylan Edwards. I don't even know why we're still looking at this. It's very clearly not off Jackson Ford. And then off the head there. But does Scott Sorensen get it? Or Chance Nickel-Klokstad? Here we go. Here we go. Who'll get there? Oh, it's a double knock-on, but you go back for the first knock-on against Edwards. So there'll be no try here, but I think Edwards knocks the ball on the infield, so that should be ball at the 10. You'll go back for the knock-on against Dylan Edwards. Yeah, but it's Warriors ball at 10. Yeah. Yeah, first one by Dylan. It's scrum at the 10. Yeah, so it's going to be Warriors ball here 10 metres out. Leon says, if one somehow make for an interesting semi, Panthers win, assume Dogs are gone. Well, I think this is the Warriors grand final. I think I went with my gut feeling today. I've actually backed him in for a 1-12er pre-game. I went with my gut for once. And I think that if they win this game with the Warriors, it'll be their grand final. And I do think they lose next week. I don't know who to tip between Panthers and Bulldogs next week if the Panthers win. It depends on injuries from this game / last night's game. Warriors now, they're 5 metres away from the line. First tackle. Leka Halasima rolls it back. That's chancy for the Warriors. Play on, they say. It was a bad play, the ball / player in the ruck, but they said play on. Second tackle. They were all offside, by the way. I can't believe the referee didn't call that. Aaron Clark is at the 8. Is anyone going to look at the offsides here? Because they're all offside. They're onside this time, though, at least. The last 2 tackles, they were well offside. Tanner Boyd right inside here. Chance will Klukstad. He'll be 7 metres out. 4 tackle. 4 tackle. Down on Martinez to Lesniak. He'll get back to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd at the back to Aaron Clark. Aaron Clark into the line. Fisher Harris. Aaron Clark. And they'll be 10 metres away. Fit tackle. Okay. Well, Panthers have been very susceptible under the high ball today. They go Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd to Harris Savina. In the line! Oh, jeez. That's close. It's going to be a dropout. Oh, my gosh. That was looking like a try coming up there for Kurt Catewell. But luckily for the Panthers, they were just able to lock him down. He throws the ball backwards. Alamotti picks it up, and it's a dropout. Wow, the Warriors are just pumping the Panthers line right now, though. You have to capitalise on it. Lucky that Alamotti was there because the Warriors had a breakthrough there with Kurt Catewell. But this will be interesting to see how this kick goes because in the wet weather conditions, it's not pouring down as hard now. Yeah, that was always going to happen. Really, Nathan Cleary's a smart player. He kicked that ball over the sideline. He just kicked it as hard as he possibly could into the ground, goes over the sideline, and it's Panthers ball. That is what Nathan Cleary can do. Especially in wet weather. I never thought Martinez Lesniak was even going to be able to grab that ball just then. Paul says, hi, I just came from the Oz vs Argentina rugby with the worst call. Ignore it. Anyway, yeah, unlucky there, Paul. Unlucky. So Panthers now will be 20 metres away here from their own line. And Casey McLean gets it out here to the 30. It's the first time the Panthers have had the ball in a while, to be honest with you. Monkey Boy says, what a bloody kick. That is Nathan Cleary, man. That's what he can do. And he needs to really take him on his back today. And Edwards gets whacked back 8 metres there to the 30. Wow. What have they called here as a penalty? What are you calling here? There's a biffo. What are you saying? There's past the horizontal? Are you insane, referee? Has he called that past the horizontal? That is actually insane he's called that. The penalty was apparently for past the horizontal, Dodzy Pass. On report? For what, though? There's no way that was past the horizontal. That is a disgraceful penalty against the Warriors. Oh, dude, that is a horrific call. That is a horrific call from Grant Atkins, dude. In no world is this a penalty. No way, dude. Edwards is putting himself down there. The tackle from Jackson Ford is directly sideways. And Edwards is putting his body down to the ground because that is a natural human instinct. It is Edwards' body that is bringing him down. The tackle needs to be lifted to show the intention of taking it past the horizontal. There was no intention, and he isn't going past the horizontal because the tackle is being made sideways. There's no pull. How on earth was that a penalty? That's a ridiculously stupid call. That doesn't make any sense. Third tackle now for the Panthers at the 45. That's the ref is saying the Pierce. Tyona says no, it was. Well, you have no idea what the whole call of past the horizontal is if you thought that was past the horizontal. Laurie says, calls like this make us say Rob, but early, lots of time to go. So, well, there was still a debatable call with Martinez Lesniak not knocking the ball on earlier too. But I'm baffled by someone commenting saying, nah, it was past the horizontal. Like, that's just ridiculous. So, fit tackle here for the Panthers, and it's going to be put up in the air, knocked back from the Panthers. Chance here. Oh my gosh, are they going to score from this? No, it's going to be Panthers ball at 10. They nearly scored though. They nearly scored, but they will not. And it will be saved the day for the Warriors from, I think it was Harris Tavita coming across. Case McLean knocks it back. Nice work there from Somerton. And then, yeah, Harris Tavita comes across to grab the ball before it goes for a try. Petty says, move on, mate. No, I'll do what I want. If I want to talk about it for the next 3 years, Petty, I'll talk about it for the next 3 years. You're here because I'm going to talk about it. So, no, if you don't like it, you can move on. How about that? So first tackle now for the Panthers at the 5. It's really not like a shock horror, guys. Like, if you don't like something that's being said or spoken about on a continuous level, it's on you. You're the ones listening. You know, like, at the end of the day, I am watching it, so I'm going to have an opinion on a disagreeable call, which I disagree with Rapetti. So if you don't like it, that's on you. That's on me. If I want to go back and talk about it again and again and again and again and again, if I want to talk about it tomorrow, guess what, Rapetti? I'm going to do that. So first tackle here with the Panthers with the 6 again. They're 4 metres out, and it's going to go back to Isaiah Yeo. Isaiah Yeo gives it off here to Nathan Cleary. Cleary across, knock on Panthers. Knock on from the Panthers, and the Warriors are going to get the ball here at the 10. Takiwi Dude says, if we were to win, not only do we get another game, but we've got to get removed from the fraud alert. Yeah, I'll take whoever wins this game off fraud alert because you're into the second week of the finals. Yeah, 100%. But, like, whoever loses this game just goes straight into eliminated. Whoever wins, you have to take them off for a first week finals win. Josie passes wet weather is killing the Panthers. Well, yeah, this is what I was saying though. Panthers are well known. They're well known for struggling in wet weather. They are really well known for being wet weather strugglers, whilst the Warriors are 50-50. Like, there's definitely been a lot of games where they have been extremely poor in the weather, like the Bulldogs game against the Warriors about 4 weeks ago, but it can be a bit topsy-turvy. All right, so second tackle here for the Warriors, and they're going to be at the 30. And that's held. They've called. That's held. Oh, he should have put his foot over the line there, Kurt Catewell, because they would have called it as a penalty. You had to win first, of course, Mitchell. Have to win first. Saw my fraud alert, surely. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Penalty to the Warriors. Penalty to the Warriors. Penalty to the Warriors. Noel says, hey, yeah, bro, some don't like the realness. No, it's not even that some don't like the realness. It's just some people like to feel like they can dictate what happens here. And it's like, at the end of the day, I enjoy what I do. You guys enjoy what I do. If you didn't enjoy what I do, then you wouldn't be here. So it's like, if I want to talk about the fact that I disagree with the penalty, I'll still talk about it five minutes later. You know, like, if people don't like it, it's their problem. They don't have to watch it. I don't think it's about the fact they don't like the fact I'm telling you how I believe it. I think it's just because they feel like they want a specific thing, and it's like, I don't give a fuck if they want a specific thing, because that's not what you're here for. So first tackle here for the Warriors, and they're at the 50. Aaron Clark gives it off here to Fisher Harris, and Fisher Harris will be at the 45. Laurie says, that's right, Panthers lost last year to the Tigers in the wet. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. 13-12, I think it was. Tigers in Bathurst. Exactly right. All right, so third tackle here, 33 metres away, and they'll give it across here to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd to Harris, to Chancellor Klokstad, and he's going to be 35 metres out, fourth tackle. Jared Ford says, my local rugby club are pushing for punters on Facebook. For punters? Lecker Alasema pushing away from a couple. Good run from Lecker, and it'll be 25 metres out, fifth tackle. Big screens running 2 games, kitchen and bar open, and no one is there. Oh, for punters. I was thinking NFL terminology. Oh, left-hand side here. Good kick, good chase, but Halamotti will get the ball to 5 and hold on to this one. Justin says, Warriors have a shot. Well, I went with my gut feeling and actually tipped the Warriors before the game. They're $3.80 underdogs, though, man. Like, you have to have a lot of balls to tip the Warriors today. And if they win, you know, you've got the balls of steel and they've got massive buddy cojones. But if they lose, you look like a muppet. I said head-wise, you tip the Panthers. But I said that gut-wise and just vibes-wise and feelings-wise and just the home factor and the rain, I've lent with the Warriors. I don't know why. And I've criticised them for months. I've criticised them for months, and it's been valid. Now, I won't go back on the criticism for months. You can have that criticism and still think that, oh, maybe they do get up here as an upset. Like, both, you know, mutually exclusive. Johnson passes, please, Wise, keep the intensity the whole 80. Exactly right. Oh, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck lets the ball go backwards, but he does get the ball to 10. And now he's going to bring it out here to the 15 on first tackle. Can you believe we've only been here for 19 minutes? Can you believe if it's felt a lot longer? Emmanuel says, if Wise win, I'm giving in and doing the fatty next. I'm not reading the rest of that coming out. I'm not doing it. Second tackle, now third tackle for the Warriors. That caught me off guard, that. Usually I can see where a comment's going beforehand, but that one caught me off guard. Fourth tackle now at the 35. 20 minutes into the first half, 20 minutes to go in the first half. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, guys, and let's talk about the fact that I didn't believe that was a penalty before. Dylan Edwards now gets the ball to the 30. And he'll be taken down now 29 metres out. Edwards is getting monstered in the defence from the Warriors. Brian to the 35 on second tackle. Longest 90 minutes ever. Well, I've enjoyed the game because it's very tactical right now. And there's a lot of mistakes because of the rain. But you're just kind of waiting for the Panthers to capitalise on a big opportunity like a 40-20 from Nathan Cleary or just something. I don't know. Like, you're just kind of waiting for the Panthers to turn up. But this is what they play like in wet weather. Hubbard says up the Panthers, keep them worried. Well, anyone in the finals is always going to keep everybody worried. So, Warriors will get the ball to 10. Good pressure. That's a one-on-one strip, but that's going to be a penalty, I reckon. Yep. That's going to be a penalty. No, is it a knock-on or a penalty? No, it's going to be a knock-on. They're not going to say a penalty. So, it's a one-on-one strip, which is fine. I just thought that Liam Martin might have been in front of him. No, he wasn't. No, he was definitely behind him. So, it's fine. It's a one-on-one strip knock-on into Liam Martin, and the Warriors get the ball to 10. Warriors get the ball to 10. Jared say first beer is free, and the Panthers will roll in. Where are we talking about, Jared? Where am I coming next? I'm getting free beers. Where's the Panthers drinking free? To be fair, I don't even really drink. Oh, don't. I have usually just Coke Zero. Coke Zero. So the Warriors now be first tackle. And they'll be at their own 20. Murata near Leka Halasima. Now it's Murata near Corey, and he'll get his ball to the 30 on second tackle. Warriors are definitely making the more meters on their sets, that's for sure. Absolutely making more meters in their sets. They're averaging 10 meters a run in this set alone. Third tackle at the 40. And now Wade Egan to Vaimalga, another 10 meters. They're fourth tackle to 50. That's 40 meters already in the set. Blaze doesn't drink. He sniffs the jar. My jar's in the bedroom. I need to get it at half time. And now Chance Newell clocks at another 10-meter run to the 40. That's a 50-meter set. So Wade Egan gives it to Harris Tavita, and then Harris Tavita up into the air. Good chase through here. Good pressure. But Alamonte gets it. And then Vaimalga, good chase, and Tanner Boyd comes over the top for the Panthers to get the ball to 15. Free Cokes 24/7 at my local, Blaze. Well, Nath, you'll see me there, mate, one day. Don't you worry. Full sugar drinks are much better than no sugar, in my opinion. I disagree. I think originally I agreed, but nowadays I've conditioned myself to preferring the no sugar. No matter what, everything's killing you. Everything's not good for you. Everything's this and everything's that. So it's like you just do whatever nowadays. If you listen to that's close to forward pass. It wasn't called. So Panthers now beat the 45. Just got to play a pokey. I don't really do that, but the Warriors are going to let that ball bounce. What are they doing? Oh my gosh, Charles Neil Clockside, that was so risky. He'll get the ball to the 10, but geez, both teams. And it's a penalty to the Warriors. That's a huge penalty that gets them out of trouble. Penalty to the Warriors. David says, nice to see the Titans in the minor premiers. Yeah, it's always good to see that, David. Man says, the air we breathe is killing us apparently, so live life at the fullest. Mate, after what we've seen this week, honestly, just live your life the best you possibly can because you never know when it's going to be your last. And that is just a fact. And it is okay to have a different opinion. It is okay. Let's just really reinstate that. So the Warriors at least will kick this ball over the sideline at the 30. Margaret says up to Waz. Laurie says, come on Waz, kick the pressure, make the Panthers eat shush kebab tonight. Fair enough, Laurie. So Aaron Clark goes off for Dimitri Vaimalga. And Harris Avita then to Kurt Catewell, and Kurt Cate will beat the 45 on second tackle. 5 pens already, oh my. Well, Little Dark Fight, you're going to see that in wet weather conditions like this, and especially, in a finals game. It's definitely not surprising. Third tackle here at the 50. Panthers going for a record for penalties conceded, not complaining. Well, they are giving the penalties away, though. They have been offside. They're actually lucky they didn't give away a couple of 6 agains in the previous attack and set the Warriors had on the line. And Vaimalga, he's been solid so far. He'll be the 33. Been impressed with him off the bench. Wade Egan to Harris Tavita, and Harris Tavita will put this one up into the corner. Again, good chase, but the Panthers all block it off. Teams have all learned just to have players stand in front like an offensive line in the NFL. And now second tackle for the Panthers there at the 18. Yeah, I think the Panthers, what are they on? 5 or 6 penalties now? Giving away a lot of penalties in this first half. That'll get crucified at the halftime chat. Penalties, they've given away 5 penalties already. Yeah, well, but they have deserved it. They have deserved those penalties against them, and now they all get their own penalty. Oh, no. Okay. I really hope that comment before that was removed. I really hope that's not insinuating something. Jay and moderators, you probably know which one I'm referring to there. The one that was removed. If it is referring to that situation, hide. So it's going to be Panthers with the ball here at the 45 on the Warriors side of the field. Doing Blazers game being close or ever written. A lot of penalties in it, a lot of mistakes in it. Really wet weather. Really wet weather. I'd be worried if I was a Waz supporter. Well, it's just a hard game to see right now because the Panthers, they've had the ball, but they've made mistakes. They've kind of been in the area, but they haven't also. Yeah, good call, Olivia. Third tackle here, very distasteful comment. Third tackle now at 33. Now that Olivia's removed it, you probably understand. Now they're going to kick that ball to Charles Neil Clockstad, and he's going to be 3 meters out from the line. First tackle. First tackle, and Harris Tavita. Now they get this ball here to the 8 on second tackle. Margaret says, who do you think has a better chance against the Bulldogs? I'll be honest with you, I think that the Panthers do. I went with my gut feeling of the Warriors, and I said this is their grand final. But I think the Panthers have the better chance of beating the Bulldogs next week, but I would love to see a Warriors-Bulldogs final, elimination final. It'd be incredible to watch, and whoever wins, it'd be just an insane time on social media. It'd be so loud and awesome. So Leka Halasima, he'll get this ball to the 30. Really strong run there. He's proving to be really difficult to bring down, as per usual. And now Harris Tavita whacks that one down to the 23, where Paul Alamotti, who they have been targeting for obvious reasons, he'll catch it, give it up to Dylan Edwards. Edwards up to Brian To'o, and Brian To'o with a great strong run. He's still going here, Brian To'o. He's still going here, Brian To'o, and then he'll be taken down to the 50 on first tackle. Roger says it's all for nothing. Top 4 team will win. That's great. Well, in the AFL in 2016, we saw the Western Bulldogs win from 7th. In the AFL this year, we've actually seen the team who came in first position get knocked out in straight sets. So, whilst it's a stat, and it's a legitimate stat, at the end of the day, it's still possible. If any team was to do it, it could be a team like the Panthers, or it could be a team like the Sharks. I don't have the Warriors or the Roosters to do it, but I do think that there is, right now, is the biggest opportunity for a bottom 4 of the top 8 team to actually win. Warriors trying to repeat 2011. So 4th tackle now, left-hand side, Nathan Cleary. Cleary gets the off all the way to the 15, off to Blaze Talangi. Talangi now to Casey McLean. And Casey McLean is going to be at the 10 on 5th tackle. 5th tackle, still only 2-0 to score. Nathan Cleary gets it across. Oh, that's a good pass, and that's a try to the post. It's a good pass. It's bad defense from the Warriors as well, though. And Isaiah Papali'i will score right underneath the post to make it 4-2 gaming with the kit to come. The Hobbit says, who coached the Warriors in 2011? That'd be Ivan Cleary, no? So 4-2 to the Panthers with the kit to come. There's a great pass from Nathan Cleary. Great pass. Try time, bing bong, mada bish. It's just the great run from Brian To'o set that up early. And this is the thing, I was actually just about to mention the fact that we hadn't seen a try yet on the basis that this is the 3rd best defensive team against... Oh, that's bad from Kurt Catewell. Nah, that's on Kurt Catewell there. Like, the pass was great, but Catewell shouldn't be coming in like that. He shouldn't have needed to be coming in. Isaiah Yeo was the guy who was coming in for, and there was 2 players that were covering him. That defense is unfortunately on Kurt Catewell. Great pass from Nathan Cleary, but the defense of Kurt Catewell, he moves in and provides the space there for Isaiah Papali'i. Margaret says, I'm for the Warriors, but I'd be bidding for the Panthers if they beat the Warriors tonight. Well, I think the Panthers give the Bulldogs the best run for their money, but I'd love to see a Warriors-Bulldogs final. All right, so Panthers are right in front. Nathan Cleary setting it up. Hubbard sets up the Panther Raw. What a ball. Great ball, but again, Kurt Catewell shouldn't have been coming inside there. Shouldn't be coming inside. Nathan Cleary is top 3 for points in final series, mind you. Bias go to Panthers. Well, they take the lead. It is about to be 6-2, and now it is 6-2. With 11:22 to go, it is 6-2 to the Panthers. Not much points being scored in this game. Not many points at all, but the Panthers do have the lead. However, as I've mentioned, the Panthers have always... They led the Storm game at halftime by 2 scores, and they also led the Raiders game at halftime by 2 scores and lost both of those matchups. So, Leon says, all that hard work from the Wilders for nothing. Well, it's not for nothing. It's still only 6-2, and the Panthers are infamous in the last about month or so of throwing away games late in games. Like, even the game against the Titans, they won that game extremely controversially. They were up 24-0 at halftime. 24-0 at halftime, and then they were down 26-24 with 3 minutes to go, and then controversy obviously it. But they were down 26-0 in the second half, the Panthers. So their last month and a half or so, their second halves have been really poor. Brad Schneider on 3rd tackle at the 25. Still plenty of time. Oh yeah, still 50-odd minutes to go. And they're going to call penalty. Oh, don't know if I agree with that. But they're going to call penalty here against the Warriors for, what, saying offside? Well, that's extremely late. Extremely late. So he's brought him down there. No, not clearing the ruck, he said. Well, we see that all the time, that get non-called. Anyway, first tackle for the Panthers at the 40. The penalty is what it is. 10 minutes to go in the first half, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. We're trying to hit 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're well on our way to get around it. Sean James, I love rugby. That's ridiculous to do that shit. Warriors try less makes me worried. Try less makes me worried. Yeah, fair. Well, both teams, again, Warriors are the 5th best defensive team in the comp. Panthers are the 3rd best defensive team in the comp, but I do think that statistic think. Oh, the Warriors will get it. They'll go in the in goal. It's a good kick from Cleary, so it'll be a dropout from the Warriors to the Panthers. I do think that statistic is very beneficial to the Warriors to make them feel like they're a better defensive team now, when now, right this second, they're not actually that great of a defensive team. That defensive stat mainly incorporates the beginning part of the year for mine. Like, if you look at their recent games, they gave up 27 points to Manly. They gave up 26 points to the Eels. They gave up 18 points to the Titans. Only 10 points to the Dragons, but 32 points to the Bulldogs, 20 points to the Dolphins, 24 points to the Titans, 15 points to the Knights. You know, they were giving up quite a few points late in the season. So that stat of being the 5th best defensive team in the comp might be a little bit of a lie. It's a stat, but it might be a little bit of a lie of where the Warriors are at now. At least you have no sirens today. Exactly right, Olivia. So Nathan Cleary off to his high Papali'i, and now they're going to be 9 metres out from the line. Boyd is not Cleary. Thank you, Monkey Muay Thai. So they'll be Panthers now 8 metres out from the line. Second tackle. Davis is 8th best. No, the Warriors 5th best defence in the competition. Nathan Cleary luckily goes backwards. Third tackle at the 13. He dropped the ball, but luckily went backwards. Now, the Warriors are the 5th best defensive team in the comp. The Panthers are the 3rd best defensive team in the comp. But attacking-wise, the Warriors are like 11th, whilst the Panthers are about 7th. And now Alamotti on 4th tackle at 13. And now they give it to Isaiah Papali'i into the line here for Lindsay Smith. And it's going to be 5th tackle, 4 metres away from the line. It's a big defensive set here, Warriors. You can't be going down 2 scores here to the Panthers. Brad Schneider, Nathan Cleary into the line. They kick it through. Let it go. No, they have to do a dropout, yeah. Another dropout coming on up. Good kick there from the Panthers. Yeah, if he had gone out the back, they probably would have scored before. Lidar Five says he said that because Tanner tried to do what Nathan Cleary did with the 10-metre kick. Oh, fair enough. All right, so what do the Warriors do here? They go short. That is exactly what they do. It's in range. It gets knocked back here for the Panthers. Where's the ball going to bounce? That's a knock on Panthers. It's Warriors ball. It's Warriors ball at 30. That's huge. Oh, they're going to say knock on Warriors. Oh, they're going to say knock on Warriors. That was close. They're not going to challenge this, so it must just be a blatant knock on. Panthers know it's difficult to grab, so they just knock it back. I'd like to see that again, though. I'd like to see a close-up of that. But they didn't challenge it anyway. I didn't actually see it. I didn't know if that was a knock-on. But anyway, Panthers get the ball here at the 25. Liam Martin comes on for James Fisher-Harris. Now the Panthers will get this ball to the 22 through Scotty Sorensen. Another attack the Warriors are going to have to withhold. First tackle, they go to Blaze Salungi, then off to Isaiah Papali'i, and Papali'i's 13 metres out from the line. Kicked that from in front of the goal line too. Well, it's lucky they didn't pick that up because it would have been a penalty from right in front, which would have made it an 8-point game. Right now, the Warriors sitting okay, only 4 points. 4 point, it would have made a 6-point game. Third tackle at 10. Brad Schneider at the back to Nathan Cleary. Cleary short into the line. Oh, nearly a knock on, but I think he held it. Forward tackle, 9 metres out. Brad Schneider gives it off to Isaiah Yo. Nathan. Oh, it's a huge hit there. Oh my gosh. Luckily for the Panthers, the ball's getting dropped backwards, but they're back at the 30 now. Jeez, they lined up Cleary just then. Isaac Tungo gets away from a tackle. He's now at the 25 to the 20 on 5th tackle. Good defense there from the Warriors to really put the pressure on the Panthers' attack just then. All right, Brad Schneider, Nathan Cleary. Cleary dinks it underneath again, and that is going to be a dropout again. Another dropout. The Panthers are just really, really suffocating them right now. They need to find a way to get this ball back to Was. There's only 6 minutes left, but the Panthers are just absolutely dominating in regards to this the dropouts. This is now 3 consecutive dropouts in a row. 3 consecutive dropouts in a row. But if the Warriors cannot concede, or they go for a long one this time, that's a great kick. Oh, that's going to go 70 metres. That's gone back to the 30 on the side of the field. So now the Warriors will make sure the first tackle is at the 45 on the Warriors side of the field. Great kick there from Tanner Boyd. Went 70 metres. Well, it does mean, though, that the Panthers should really score. They've had 3-4 consecutive opportunities on the Warriors line. Last 10 minutes possessions, 89% for the Panthers and 11% for the Warriors. Again, Panthers aren't known for a second half team, so they'd really like to be scoring here. And Scotty Sorensen, he'll be 18 metres out, 4 tackle. They've just gotten inside the 20. Brad Schneider, Lindsay Smith off to his eye, into the line, his eye, Papali'i scored already. He's 5 metres out from the line, fit tackle. Do they get a 4th consecutive? Oh, no, he's saying to, well, at least it sets the Warriors' defensive structure up because he holds the play up. Nathan Cleary, he will short ball into the line, Liam Martin, and the Warriors will get the ball back. Good defense. Good defense there from the Warriors. Really interesting decision there from Nathan Cleary just to pass the ball to Liam Martin. I think another play there would have just been to continue trying to get that short drop out and suffocate all the ball and all the possession away from the Warriors, tire them out for the second half. I think they'd kick that ball through again and you would have gotten a drop out. But Watene Zelezniak now will get this ball to the 20, but that's good defense from the Warriors and they come up trumps. Ryder says, I don't watch the NRL, but the NRL, the refs are biased. Well, if you don't watch the NRL, then how are you going to have a genuine conversation with us about what you disagree with? So if you don't watch the NRL, then how do you know the refs are biased? Because if you don't watch the NRL, you wouldn't know really what you're watching, right? So how are the refs biased if you don't actually know what you're really watching? So 4th tackle now for the Warriors, and they're at the 40. Now they'll be the 45 on the 5th tackle. Laurie says, Tanner, you beauty, what a kick. It was a great kick. So Warriors at the 42, and now they'll kick this ball down to the corner where Dylan Edwards will grab it at the 20, and he'll take it out here to the 30. He's been very, very rough with dropping balls lately in crucial times, Edwards, but usually that's waiting for the second half. Also, bias is not spelt correctly, for sure. Second tackle for the Panthers, 3.5 minutes to go of the first half. They give it to Liam Henry at the 45. Mr. Edit says, let's go to Panthers. Lagan says, this game feels as long as the lighting delay game this year. It has felt like a really long first half, but it's been a grind, man. This is what you're going to get between these two teams in wet weather. The 5th best defensive team against the 3rd best defensive team. Both teams' attacks are okay, but more so the Panthers okay, Warriors on the lower end. You're going to see kind of games like this, especially with this weather. Nathan Cleary, he's just going to dink that one up into the it's a good chase, but Watene Zelezniak, good grab at the 10. Oh, arguably high tackle there. He's complained about it, but they're not going to call it. Scott says, if you see my comment, thank you for doing the live streams this year. Much appreciated. Appreciate you, man. We're here live for every single game. We've still got the internationals after the finals as well. Still got the internationals to come up right on after the finals, but we've still got, 2 games to go this weekend, 2 games next weekend, 2 games the weekend after a grand final, which will have 3 games on that day. Host Plus Cup versus New South Wales Cup, women's grand final, and then also the men's grand final, and then we're into the internationals. Is this a magic round, Pete? Well, it'll be nice to see. Warriors into the line. Good run. Fit tackle at the 43. Fit tackle at the 43. And Wade Egan back to Tanner Boyd. Maybe a 40-20 attempt. No, they're ready for that. So that's just going to be booted down to the 15 for Dylan Edwards, where Edwards will bring it out to the 30 on 2 minutes to go. Logan Ballsack's been for 16 months. Did you notice the rain made Cleary's chin shiny? No, didn't notice the rain making Cleary's chin shiny, but very interesting to see the things that you notice in your life, Lagan. But appreciate you. Well, do I appreciate being a member for 16 months? Yeah, I do appreciate you've been a member for 16 months, but it is unlucky that we've had to deal with you for the 16 months of that. So 4 tackle here at the 42. Dynamic Joyce is up the Waz. Well, they're going all right now, but they just can't seem to score a try. And Panthers lock down Sorensen at the 30. Warriors lock down Sorensen at the 30. Fit tackle. Very ordinary kicking game by the Waz. Yeah, it has been very one-dimensional and basic. And Warriors, chance of clock. So great grab, he's away. Oh, he nearly gets away. Oh, he gets to the 20. All right, probably the last set here in the first half for either team. They give it to Watene Zelezniak, and he'll now get this ball to the 25. I don't really know what you do here on this set. Do you think about a 2-point field goal if you can get in range? Do you think about... Yeah, you probably would. Any form of points if you can get within range, but does Tanner have the boot on him for a 2-point field goal? Jackson Ford out the back here. Tanner Boyd, he steps. Tanner Boyd's away. Tanner Boyd's away to the 50, the 45, the 40, the 35, the 30. Tanner Boyd, he steps again. 20 metres out here, 4 tackle, 39 seconds to go here. Great run by Tan. Leka Halasima, Wade Egan. He goes across into Harris DeVito at the 25. He kicks his ball into the corner here. Here's a chance to run it to a shake. Where's the ball bounce? And now Edwards is away. Dylan Edwards at the 10, at the 20, the 25, the 30. And that should be the half. Oh my gosh, what a crazy end of the half. Not the play kicking that ball on fit tackle though. Get up, Edwards. Get up, Dylan Edwards. You haven't been done over there. There's 10 seconds to go, mate. There's 10 seconds to go. Even if it is like a clip, it's not anywhere near enough for you to be milking a penalty 30 metres out from your own line with 13 seconds to go. He's milking a penalty for God knows what reason, and he hasn't even gotten the penalty. It was just a waste of time there, Edwards. 3 line breaks for the Panthers so far, 1 for the Warriors, and that came from Tanner Boyd just then. Ominous sign, though, because again, Panthers usually slip away in the second half. And that is halftime. That is halftime. It has been a very intriguing first half. I disagree with the Warriors kicking that ball on 4 tackle, similar to what we saw from the Bulldogs yesterday, where they kicked the ball on 4 tackle when they were in the attack and had a nice little overlap, but they did decide to kick it. Overall, I disagree with what they just did just then. But at the end of the day, this is a war of attrition. It is 6-2 to the Panthers. They're the only ones that's got to try, but the Warriors did obviously get the penalty to take the lead early doors, which is what you will always take every day of the week. But let's go through these stats here at halftime and get a good read for where both these teams are situated in such a close, gritty, grindy elimination game. Reminder for everybody, whoever wins this game will play the Canterbury Bulldogs next week in Sydney at Accor Stadium. Whoever loses this game is eliminated. They are gone. So that's why this is such a big game. And then don't forget, we'll be streaming live at the Sharks versus the Roosters in 50 minutes after this stream finishes. And we'll be doing a whole hour preview as well, like we did before. So that game will be massive as well. And that is an elimination. But let's get to the stats. So hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new. Isaiah Papali'i is the only try scorer in this game. Tanner Boyd obviously kicked the 2-point penalty because he does not miss for the Warriors. Now, the possession-wise, these stats will update at halftime, guys, but we'll only go with what we can see, and it's always a guide anyway. Possession is 52% to the Panthers, 48% to the Warriors. I'll tell you, on the eye test, it does not feel that way. It has not felt like that. It's felt like the Panthers have had a lot more possession than that. Maybe that's just because of that 88% record, 89% record in the 10-minute stands in between the 13 minutes to go mark, or the 27 minutes gone mark, and the 37-minute mark. They had 89% of the ball. So maybe that's why I'm getting that, because that was the most recent time. But the Warriors did have probably a lot more of the possession in the first 20. But overall, that's what's probably evened it out. Now it's 54% of the Panthers, so that makes sense. Now it's getting up there. So they're updating it. It's up to 54%. I probably would have thought it was about the 57, 58% mark, but it is 54 to 46 Panthers way. Now, time of possession, 14 minutes and 27 seconds here for the Panthers, 12 minutes and 36 seconds here for the Warriors. So 14, 12, that's 26, 26 and a half, that's basically 27 minutes. It's pretty flatline okay. It means that we're not seeing too much involvement from the referee. We're not seeing, obviously, a lot of tries. We are seeing enough of an involvement from the referee. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go against what I just said, because there has been plenty of involvement from the referee in this game, but the reason why you're seeing still a lackluster amount of possession is because we're not seeing, you've got to actually remove the fact that we're not seeing many tries to take the minutes away. So the reason why we're seeing a limited time of possession at 27, which is okay, is because of all those penalties. So actually, that is a bad stat, because if we saw like 5 tries in this first half compared to 1, then we would have seen the time of possession being at literally like 9 minutes for the Warriors and maybe 11 minutes for the Panthers. It would have been like 21, 22 minutes of game in hand, ball in hand possession. So that's actually not that great of a stat if you look deeper into it. Then you go to the completion rate. You want to see at least 80%. Now, the Warriors are at 80% exactly at 17 from 21. The Panthers are at 86% at 20 from 23. So the Warriors and Panthers are both doing exactly what they need to do. They are both just kind of sitting nice and pretty there above the 80% marker. You're pretty damn well happy with that. 86% is obviously better. They've had 2 more sets in total. They have incomplete. There's 1 less incomplete set there for the Panthers, but just with the 2 extra sets. And then you go to the runs. 70 runs for the Warriors, 574 run meters. In wet weather like this, you don't usually see 10 metres on average per run, and you're not going to see it from both these teams. But 70 runs for 574 run metres for the Warriors, whilst the Panthers are at 90 runs for 775 run metres. So if you go via the metric of 10 metres on average per run that you look for, that's a very solid number. It's not easy, but it's a very solid number of 10 metres on average per run. The Warriors at 574 to the 70 runs are about 126 metres behind that, what they would be looking for there. Whilst the Panthers at 90 for 775, now it's 91 for 779, they are 100 and, what is it, 189, 99, 131 metres behind where they would be liking to be on a a 10 metres an average per run metric. So it would be unfair to give the Warriors a 10 metres an average per run to get them up to the 91-71, give them 200 metres. That then takes them into the lead with 693, 793. It's close. But I do think that despite the 779 to 593 right now, both teams are at a very similar rate around that 125, 130 metre mark behind the 10 metres on average per run, which means they're both doing a similar amount with the ball. So you're probably going to see if the Warriors had 91 runs, now 73 for 606. If the Warriors had 91 runs, I would assume the Warriors would be pretty similar. It'd be pretty much the exact same rate. So I don't separate them too greatly here. It's just the possession is what's giving the Panthers that significant gap. Then you go to the post-contact meters. Post-contact for the Warriors is 260. The post-contact for the Panthers is 266. This is well in advantage of the Warriors. They have now 16 less runs. There's now 74 runs for the Warriors, 90 runs for the Panthers. So 16 less runs. They have got 264 post-contact meters each. That is each. There is 15 runs different now, and yet the post-contact meters is the exact same. So the Warriors are dominating in this department. They're absolutely dominating in this department. Then you go to the line breaks. 2 for the Panthers and 1 for the Warriors. Very similar. Tackle breaks is 19 for the Panthers and 15 for the Warriors. So defense has been at a pretty similar rate. We'll talk about the missed tackles in a second. Average set distance. In a game of this wet weather, you are normally looking towards reducing the categories down one, as in like 20 to 25 is turn the stream off. It's pathetic. 25 to 30 is underwhelming. 30 to 35, 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 4, no, what is it? 20 to 25 would be turn the stream off. It's pathetic. 25 to 30 is underwhelming. Long story short, 30 to 35, what I'm trying to say is 30 to 35 is pretty much at least where you want to be. And then 35 to 40 is great. 40 to 45 is fantastic. And then 45 plus is perfect. Now, usually those categories would be shifted up to 50 plus being perfect, right? That's where I got confused. So they're at 31.13, the Warriors, which is low to mid-range of where you want to be at the very minimum, whilst the Panthers are at 34.7, so they're at the higher range of the category of hitting the marker, doing the bare minimum, right? It's not great for both these teams. It's awful on a normal game, but in a game of these conditions, you are expecting this kind of grindy mentality, this kind of grindy style, and they're both kind of hitting just that area. Then you got the average play the ball speed of 3.65 seconds. So the Panthers at 3.43 seconds. Now, 3.39 and below is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow. And then 3.8 and above is extremely slow. The Panthers are at 3.44 seconds, so that is in the average category. It's getting faster, especially for these conditions, but it is in the average category. Whilst the Warriors were at 3.65 seconds on the average play the ball speed, which is into the slow category. 3.65 seconds is slow, but in these wet weather conditions, this is what you would expect, this 3.65. So it is 0.22 seconds differential between the two, but in the wet weather, I would prefer that play the ball speed from the Warriors because it would limit the errors, is what I would be looking towards. Then you go to the offloads of 2-0 Panthers. In wet weather, you're not going to see too many offloads coming. Interesting, the Panthers have still got 2 away. Then you got the forced dropouts. Key telling point, Panthers have been down there and really suffocating them into the Warriors having to defend their line a lot, which is why it's surprising it's only 6-2 right now. 4 forced dropouts for the Panthers, 0 for the Warriors. That is gigantic. And we could see, because the Panthers got 3 consecutive dropouts in a row, they were really just suffocating them. They were just keeping them down there. They weren't letting them get away. They were just tiring them out. So 4 forced dropouts to 0 is a gigantic number, which forced the Warriors into a lot of defense. Kick defusal is 82% for the Warriors, 44% here with the Panthers. Then you go to the effective tackle percentage, where what you would expect in a game like this, both are really good. So 85% and under is disgusting. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker. And then 90% and above is fantastic, unbelievable, basically perfect. Now, the Warriors are at 90.22%. Which is very, very good. That is brilliant stuff. 203 tackles made for 20 missed tackles and 2 ineffective. Now, the average amount of missed tackles in a game in the first half is 15 to 17. They're at 20, so there's still 3 missed tackles above the average missed tackles on the higher level of 17. But in wet weather, you do see tackles slip off quite a little bit. I will remove that wet weather discussion, though, to say on a pure metric, it is still 3 missed tackles higher. But where they're limiting is the ineffective tackles. They've only got 2. So the average is 6 to 7 for ineffective tackles. They're at 2. So they're 4 underneath the lowest of the average there. So 22 bad tackles in the first half of the Warriors. If they could limit those missed tackles a lot, it'd be brilliant. But this is an individual metric. This isn't a collective metric, because collectively, the Warriors have actually defended really well today. They defended really well, but individually speaking, they are bulking up those missed tackles. At least they're limiting the ineffective, though. And then we go to the Panthers, who are at 92.42%, which is 2.22%, 2.20% better than the Warriors, which is even just unbelievable. 92.42% is brilliant stuff. 195 tackles made for 15 missed tackles and 1 ineffective. Now, the Warriors have had to make only 8 more tackles than the Panthers, and the Panthers have had 5 less missed tackles with the 15. So they're bang smack on the average, the 15 and 17, on the lower end 15. But the ineffective, again, both these teams aren't having ineffective tackles, but both these teams are having relatively high, especially the Warriors, but relatively high missed tackles. So it's a very similar game here defensively. They are both kind of playing at the same standards. The Panthers just with a little bit better because of the missed tackles. Overall, if you give them those extra 8, you're probably going to see another ineffective tackle. Maybe you might see 1 missed tackle there to go 16 to 2 if you equate it. But overall, they're both at a very similar rate here defensively. Then you go to the negative play. 6 errors apiece. So 4 and under is great. 5 to 6 is average. 7 and above is Newcastle Knights. So 6-6 is very average. You don't want to be seeing that. You're going to be seeing that wet weather, but you don't want to be seeing a whopping 6 errors. So that's something that both teams need to limit, but you are going to expect to see this in wet weather footy. Penalties conceded. This is disgraceful. 5 penalties for the Panthers and 3 for the Warriors. Before anyone complains, these penalties for the majority were legitimate. There was 1 penalty I disagreed with the Warriors, where I don't believe that the Warriors players took him beyond the horizontal. I think Dylan Edwards forced the matter and put his head to the ground, because that is literally what you're going to do. And they penalised the Warriors for it, which I disagreed. So that was 1 penalty I disagreed with. Overall, the Panthers have been ill-disciplined, and they've been super lucky to only be at 5, because they have been actually quite offside quite a bit. They haven't actually given away the Warriors 1-6 again, and yet we saw the entire Panthers line offside at one stage on 2 consecutive tackles. So we noticed that then. I guarantee it happened more than once in that first half, and there's 0 here for ruck infringements and 0 for anything else. So they've been penalised quite a bit, deservingly so, whilst the Warriors are at 1 ruck infringement and 1 on report. I disagree with the report, but the ruck infringement, sure. So both teams have been limited in ruck infringements. I disagree the Panthers were perfect, because I saw 2 times on consecutive occasions they weren't perfect, and they didn't get pulled up for it, but the penalties are all legitimate here. So overall, I think that this game is extremely close right now. Errors, the same. Penalties, both of them banking up and both of them legitimate for the most part. Defensively, they're both pretty much the same. There's a key telling point between the forced dropouts, a 4-0 Panthers way. The offloads is still very limited for both these teams, but obviously leans Panthers way. Play the ball speed is similar-ish, but I think the slower the play the ball, probably the better in kind of conditions like this. Average set distance, it's only 4 metres separating them. Tackle breaks is similar. Line breaks is similar. Post contact meters is well an advantage of the Warriors if you equate the 74 to 93. And the run meters is probably pretty similar if you equate the 74 to 93 in regards to runs. Completion rates are both successful, and the Panthers are at the 56% possession, which is what I said that I thought it should be when it was a 52%. Now it's a 56%, so I think that's a pretty fair representation of what we saw in that first half. So there you go, guys. This game is still up in the air. I do find it interesting to make a tip for the second half. I probably will, in a close game, still go on and back in the Warriors that I had the gut feeling on the basis that the Panthers in second halves have consistently shown in recent weeks that they don't have the gall and the audacity to go on and win the game in the crunch of it, which is so surprising considering their last 4 or 5 years in the competition. They have not done it. The Raiders game, they were up at halftime like 16 to 8 or whatever, or 18 to 6 or whatever, and they lost the game. At halftime against the Storm, they're up by a similar margin, and they lost the game. At halftime against the Titans, they're up 24-0, and they went down 26-24 before controversy ultimately got them over the line, and then they won the game, but they gave it 26 straight points in the second half to a last-place Titans team. This Panthers team needs to prove a lot in the second half. They need to go on with the job. They need to really put it in. And the Warriors have been defending so well that the Panthers have had all the ball and they've been really crunching into that defensive line. But the Warriors keep coming up trumps and they keep holding them out. So, look, I feel like the Warriors could still win this game. I think that they're absolutely still in this, and it's going to be interesting to see if the Panthers can kick on with it or if they go back into the same kind of team we've seen over the last few weeks. But second half's about to start here, guys. So hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. We're going to have a quick drink here before we do get into the second half. Oh boy, there we go. Ryzen says Pars will play full 80. Don't know, bro. Well, based off of what the last 5 weeks have told you the complete opposite of that. Well, not to the Warriors, but to the Panthers. The Pars will play the full 80. Why do you say that, Ryzen? They were up against the Rays at half time by 2 scores and lost. They're up against the Storm by 2 scores and lost. Don't care about the Bulldogs game because it was 16 from 17 plays out. They're up 24-0 at half time against the Titans, who are in 17th position and debatably lost. But ultimately, they won that game based off of controversial decisions. But regardless of the controversial decisions, they still gave 26 straight points. So what proof do you have that the Panthers played the full 80 when over the last 5 to 6 weeks you've seen the complete opposite of that? Jab Ford says, Lecca, WM's end of the year. Yeah, no. Seb Watson says, I'm decided to have a 40-minute timeout to miss out on the Muppets and Waz Crybabies. My apology is only for those who don't come in looking for a betting lock. Rest of you cats can do one. Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. That's funny. Finals because they'll be there. That's great, but you're basing that off of previous years. Like 2025 has been very different across the competition. So it's like you're basing that off of what you've seen in previous years, but in recent weeks coming into this game, it's been completely different. So whilst the Panthers could do that, and whilst the Panthers could win this game, you're basing that off previous years, whilst I'm going off of the recent weeks that we've watched, which is a very different story. Right, so it's the form coming into this, comparatively speaking, to previous, situations that happened over the last 5 years of the competition. Third tackle now, because it's like the Warriors. Okay, we're going to use last year as an example. Well, the Warriors came 11th, 12th. Well, this year they came 6th. So it's like, why would it be fair to compare with the Panthers in previous years compared to the Warriors in previous years when the Warriors came 11th last year? Like in the Bulldogs came last in 2021 and then made the finals last year and made the finals this year. Should we compare them with the 2021 Bulldogs? So I'd like to look at what we're seeing right now. And whilst I think the Panthers on the head, you'd be tipping the Panthers, but I do think there's a reason for the gut. And if you look at the stats are showing that this game is extremely close right now. Extremely close. Okay, I can't read that coming out. Second tackle here for the Warriors. They're going to be at the 42 with 39 minutes to go of the game. And it's a penalty to the Warriors. It says 17 from 17 completions for the Warriors on the broadcast, but it's got 17 from 21 completions for the Warriors on the NRL.com app. It's a pretty interesting switch up. But that's going to be a high tackle here against the Panthers. Against, Isaiah Papali'i. Yeah, so this will be a penalty to Harris Tavita, and Papali'i goes on report. 15th in 2022. Yeah, Warriors have been massively fluctuating. 15th, 2022. Top 4, 2023, losing 66-6 to the Titans in 2024 and coming like 11th and then coming 6th place in 2025. They are just so fluctuating. So Warriors fans, I don't know if I'd get my hopes up about next year if that's the current trajectory. All right, so first tackle now for the Warriors. They're 40 metres out here from the Panthers line and they give it off to Jackson Ford, who's be 38 metres away from the line, second tackle. This is not the only game we've got today. We've got Sharks and Roosters in another elimination final later on. And then Raiders Broncos tomorrow. Let's see who will play the winner of that Sharks Roosters game. Oh, here we go. They've got numbers. Harris Tavita. Oh, taking down the 25 third tackle. Laurie says stats mean nothing in the finals, but experience does. Yes and no. I will agree and also disagree. No way. You've also got to go via the stats, and you've also got to you've got to include everything. The experience matters, the stats matters, the way teams played matters, the form matters. The Roosters have plenty of experience, but are you backing them to win the comp right now? Tanner Boyd for tackle! Knock on from Tony Martin. You've got to include everything. You can't just say the stats don't matter for finals. That's an absolutely blatantly incorrect statement. You have to include literally everything. Because, sure, like, there are teams like the Sharks who have got experience in finals, but they've got experience losing those finals. And like coming into 2020, did you expect the Panthers to make the grand final? No. No way. No one did. Panthers are going to have the ball at the 20 and they're going to try and milk a penalty here. People getting slapped all over the place in here. Well, for the majority, there's a lot of those spam accounts, unfortunately. For the majority of those rugby stupid shit bloody spam accounts. Second tackle here at the 20. What's happened here? Well, he played the ball, ref. You told him to play the ball. He played the ball, and then no one picked it up. So that should have been just a free ball for the Warriors to pick up just then. Jazz, it's pretty close. Laurie, just game enthusiasm on the day can beat predictions. Absolutely. There's plenty of upsets that happen in finals. Plenty. Again, the team that finished in first position in the AFL this year is already out 2 weeks into the finals. They're out in straight sets. Nathan Cleary on fourth tackle. He'll kick this ball down. Wateens Lesniak, can he get back in time? Yes, he can. And he'll get this ball to 20. To the 25. And that'll be first tackle. Minigaming says, not the backing the Warriors and can't name 5 for the season. Heck up the... What? Not the backing the Warriors and can't name 5 for this season. Heck up the Wars for now. What? I don't even understand that comment. Are you backing the Wars? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I meant previous year's stats in the finals, but this year's different stats. Okay, well, yes, I would agree with that. I would agree with that, but... Yeah, sure. But that's also kind of just a sole Panthers read. Okay, fifth tackle out to 45. Oh, I thought just a normal Wars home game. Where's old mate thinking of that guy that only supports him at home? Yeah, no, he was here earlier. The old Highlanders fan. Big high kick there from the Wars, and Edwards will catch it. And they're going to call penalty here, I think, against Vaimaoga for being offside. No, Jackson Ford offside. Jackson Ford. Kiwi speak. Just says, I'm trying to assume he's saying that he's not backing the Warriors and can't name 5. Can't name 5 what? Players? Wins? STDs? Like, what are you saying? Heck up the Wars. I don't know what's happening here. Something's happening. I don't know. So first tackle with the Panthers, and they'll be at the 45 on the Warriors side of the field. Still 35 minutes to go of the game, and it's first tackle. Now it's his Papali'i at the 40. If he says chat actually thinks the Wars are winning, well, they're only down 6-2 right now, and their stats are pretty equal with the Panthers at half time, despite the fact they had all the possession against them in the first half. So right now they're giving it a good crack. It's just their attack, again, throughout their season has been the worrying part. He's back in the Wars family with his fingers. Be careful your fingers. Full tackle now at the 15. 6 again for the Panthers they've called, and that is crucial. Nathan Cleary out to his Papali'i. He gets the offload away to Scotty Sorensen. Here's numbers. Here's a chance. Case McLean, he'll be taken out to 5 on second tackle. Second tackle at the 5. Now they'll give it to Grassy McGrath, but Brad Schneider picks it up at Zaya Yo. And he'll be at the 15 on third tackle. Third tackle. Whereas defense have been pretty strong throughout this game. Isaiah Papali'i, he'll be 5 meters out. No, sorry, that's Liam Henry, is it? Yeah, I think it's Liam Henry who ran that ball. Brad Schneider goes for it, and I think he scored. It's 10-2. That's bad defense, Warriors. Brad Schneider is horrific, but to allow him to score that try is actually incredible. 10-2 here. He just literally walks around the dummy there and just scores underneath the post. It's 10-2 with a kick to come, and that's a worrying sign, Warriors fans, because for Brad Schneider to literally just walk and score under the post here, when you have that line there, for Brad Schneider literally... Oh, maybe not. On the slow-mo, this might be double... Maybe he bounces, or hold on, arm there. Oh, this might be double movement here, lads. This might be double movement here. Well, you've got to call that as a double movement. Oh, I wonder what they'll call here, man. This could be a double movement. He comes down, and it's not like he extends his arm. He doesn't extend the arm, but it's like does he move it? I don't know. This will be interesting what they call here. They haven't confirmed it. Or have they confirmed it? Oh, damn, they've just confirmed that. They've just straight up confirmed that. I thought that was definitely worth a decent enough look into that. This could go either way. Well, no, they just... Look, it's such a double movement that it's bullshit. Well... The argument that I would make for the referee's decision there is that he hasn't extended the arm, but it's like he does come down, and then you could argue it's a bounce, but he's still moving the arm. It's just not extending it. He's got momentum, everyone says. Well, so he goes down here. Oh, dude. Like, look, I can understand the point that he's got momentum, but also it's an awkward one because the motion does stop here, and then the arm does come up, and then it's down again. But again, he's not extending the arm, but it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Yeah, slow-mo makes it look worse than it is, Mitchell. I think that's probably I would agree with you there. I think on full speed. Oh no! Oh, would that go backwards from the Panthers? Yeah, Matthew says the referee immediately indicated that he was bouncing. Here we go. So Blaze Salangi. Oh yeah, it probably goes backwards. That probably does go backwards. Second tackle for the Panthers at 20. Well, I'm saying that I think that's what they've called, that he's bouncing, but it's just like, it's an awkward one. It was an awkward one because his arm does go down, and it's like the movement looks like it's kind of stopped, but it's got, I think it's just the slow-mo that makes it look really bad. So Panthers now will be at the 40 on their own side of the field for tackle. Well, Warriors, you're going to have to really find a way for a miracle here because you're down by 2, and your attack's been your worry this year. It's not been your defense. Your attack's been your worry. And you got up against the third best defensive team in the comp, who has won 5 in a row. Waitini Lesniak. Oh, my fuck me drunk. Waitini Lesniak. That's disgraceful, dude. Sorry for swearing. That is actually horrific. Waitini Lesniak has just cost you a dropout. He touches the ball at the 3, and then it was going to go dead, and then has to put the ball down. That's actually insane from Waitini Lesniak just then. 30 minutes to go here in the game, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. That's actually insane. Kahoma Edwards has brought the Bulldogs. Well, your game's not over yet. Knocked back here from the Panthers, and the Warriors get the ball. Waitini Lesniak, you got lucky. First tackle here with the Warriors at the 20. So Warriors now going to get this ball here to the 30 through Rodder Tuivasa. Second tackle. Second tackle. Fame says, bro, Defo has a multi on. I don't bet, man. Third tackle now, but I know that I disagree with whatever your opinion is, so that must mean that the person is incorrect. And my Warriors are away here. It's Martin. He gets the ball again off to Harris Avita. Tanner Boyd then gives it across, and the Warriors will be at the 38 on 4 tackle. But yeah, people disagree with your opinion, Mr. Fame, so that must mean they're wrong, you're right. So fifth tackle now at the 30 for the Warriors. It'll be Wade Egan. He'll goes right-hand side to Tanner Boyd. He'll kick that ball up into the corner. The chase through here from the Warriors. It's going to be bounced, allowed to bounce, but Brian Tot will get the ball from the bounce there at the 10. Fame says, now you're starting to get it. Yeah, well, you can eat a dick, and I'm going to time you out for 10 minutes, so get that one. All right, first tackle now for the Panthers, and they're going to be at the 30. Blaze Salangi off to Paul Alamotti, and Alamotti will get this ball out of the 35 now on second tackle. Dalmatine loves a good gamble. Well, he definitely gambled on getting that ball. He definitely gambled on getting that ball there, Jared. So third tackle, and he's very lucky that the Warriors are able to get that short dropout. But now the Panthers, Dylan Edwards, he's going to get this ball here to the 50 on fourth tackle. Vaimalga goes off, and Stowers Smith comes on for the Warriors. Go to the left-hand side to to Liam Henry, and Henry will be at the 40 on fifth tackle. And Samuel Healy is on the field now for the Warriors. I like that. This should be a 7-tackle set here, unless that ball sits up. Oh, it's close for the Panthers, but it will go dead for a 7-tackle set here for the Warriors. 29 minutes to go with the game. Emmanuel says, is it going to be what of old and crumble second half? I think next try, if the Panthers score the next try, it's game over. The Warriors score the next try. The Panthers have got a recent history of throwing away games. So, next try is incredibly crucial. The game's still in the balance right now, definitely Panthers' favour, and I don't necessarily back the Warriors' attack. The Warriors' attack has been poor all season. Ali goes, Panthers, Papua New Guinea, stay for you. Get around your Papua New Guinea, but it's Leka Halasima to the 40 on third tackle. And now Wade Egan. Wade Egan gets to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd to the 25 on fourth tackle. Love your channel. Appreciate you, Kahoma. Out to Trying to start with Smith, and he's going to be at the 15. He gets the ball to the 10. Fit tackle. Okay, Warriors, we need a kicking game here. We need to see you with the kicking game. Wade Egan, he goes right. Tanner Boyd at the back now. Here's a chance. Look at Halasima! Oh my gosh, has he scored? He has scored. Yeah, he puts it down second. That's a try. Leka Halasima gets the Wars back into the game. And it's 12-6 with a kick to come. You can't stop the wrecking ball. That is Leka Halasima on the run. At first, I think Edwards actually holds him up, but he does get that second touchdown. Tanner Boyd, Charles Newell-Klukstad, Leka Halasima, Brian Toto had no chance there. I do think Edwards held him up, but then the second one, he gets the ball down. Leka Halasima brings him back within a try. And guess what? It's time for... What's it time for, chat? What is it time for? Let me know in the chat what it's time for right this very second. Does he get the first touchdown? No, he didn't. No, he had to get that second one. He had to get that second one down. 27 minutes to go here in the game. But what time is it? Mitchell says, great effort from Edwards. Ryan says, him to miss. Yep, you're getting removed. We'll see you in 5. You're a clown. You knew that was coming. And Brenton, yep, you deserve it too, to be fair. You deserve it too. Yep, bye, gone and gone. Monkey Boy says, yes, Leka. Josie Parks is already converted at this point. It already is, because Tanner Boy doesn't miss. He does not miss. Time to stop dickheading the Warriors. No, I'm going to dickhead them all night here, YLW fame. Do you really think that creating another account is just going to get you back in? We're just going to remove you again. No, catch ya. I'll just continue to dickhead the Warriors all we like, son. It's just because obviously you don't like an opinion that there was that Watani Zalesniak didn't do a good job in regards to getting the ball, and that I was pretty annoyed at him for it. Tanner Boyd will get the kick because he does not miss, baby. He does not miss. Or maybe... I actually don't even know why. I actually don't know why someone's crying like a little bitch in the chat, to be fair, that we're talking positively about the Warriors. At the end of the day, I would prefer to see the Warriors win this game because I think it would be great and refreshing for the competition. I don't hate the Panthers. I think the Panthers have been successful. I think they deserve their success. I think they developed the right way, and I think it's a really good system the Panthers do have, and regardless if they get knocked out today or next week or the week after, they're still going to be back and great next year, and might even be better for it next year. But at the end of the day, like, I would like to see a fresh competition. So, yeah, I'd like to see the Warriors win this game. If they don't win this game, then it'll be an interesting game between the Panthers and Bulldogs next week, and it's just the best of the best. You know, at this point of the season, whoever wins deserves to win. You know, whoever wins the game deserves to win the game and progress. And I would prefer to see a refreshing team, but if it doesn't happen, the best team still won. And right now, I'd say whoever wins this game still has been the best team in this game. Second tackle here for the Warriors. They'll be the 18, and they'll go to Tamati Martin. But if you don't like that, again, your problem, bro. You don't have to watch this stream. You're choosing to make fake accounts just to come on again. So right-hand side means that, guess what? Rent-free. You're mine. Fourth tackle now to 35 for the Warriors. Someone says, I'd rather Panthers so I don't have to hear about Wars winning the comp every stream. I'd enjoy it. Let them have it, man. It's been a tough history for the Wars. It's been a tough history for them, man. I'd enjoy it, but I do get sick of the old complaining about the refs 24/7, but I think they deserve to have it. Brian Toll, good catch there at the 10. He's going to bring this ball here to the 20. It's a 4-point game, 12-8 to the Panthers right now. 25 minutes to go of the game. Shane says, I agree with you. It would do the rest of the teams a favour and blow the comp wide open. Oh, yeah, it'd be unreal. You know, it would be just unreal because it means that somebody new would win. And it would just make every game so much more exciting because you've still got that thought in the back of your mind, the Panthers are going to win it. But if the Panthers were knocked out, you don't have that thought. So that makes the next game exciting, even more so. The Raiders-Broncos tomorrow and then all the games in the future because you know someone new is going to win. Even if it was the Storm, that's still been 5 years since they last won a comp, right? So fifth tackle now with the Panthers, the 40. 96% completion rate for the Warriors, 92% for the Panthers. NRL.com is so different completion rate-wise to what the broadcast is showing. And Isaac Tungo grabs it. And, oh my gosh, it's nearly an intercept. It's actually going to be a knock on Warriors. Knock on Panthers first, they say. It's a knock on Panthers. No, they're saying knock on Warriors first. I don't know why he's calling here, Grant Atkins. Are they going to challenge? I don't know if they challenge this or not. I don't know what they choose. Well, I think this is just going to be Panthers' ball. Roger goes up. Isaac Tungo gets it. That's fine. That's fine from Isaac Tungo. He flicks the ball out the back to Liam Martin. Oh, it just comes down to chance touch that or Dylan Edwards. Because Dylan Edwards definitely touches that. it would have come down to with Charles' hand there. Remember the Wars adore the NRL, win or lose, we adore the NRL. Maybe not all. a lot of Warriors fans pretty anti-organisation because they believe they get robbed more weeks than not. Panthers now be 13 metres out from the line. First tackle. Second phase is getting the Panthers. We need to keep it going. Absolutely to Kiwi dude. It's unlucky there with the knock on. So it'll be Moses Leota. Second tackle. It's a huge set to defend here. You've just brought yourself back within a one-score game. And I'll give it out to Isaiah Yo. Isaiah Yo, he'll get this ball out the back again. Here's the one. Oh, Liam Henry so close. 3 metres out. Third tackle. Third tackle. Then they'll give it to... Oh, jeez. How has Blaze Slungy not knocked that ball on? 6 again, too. They would have called it a 6. They would have given a penalty to the Panthers, which actually would have been worse. So if he did knock that ball on there, they would have called a penalty, and it would have been a 6-point game. They would have gone for the 2. Second tackle here, 5 metres out from the line. And it's Summerton. He'll give it to Yo. Yo then at the back of Nathan Cleary. Then to Liam Martin, who crosses the field. He crosses the field. He still goes. Hannah Boyd, good tackle. And the Panthers will be 5 metres out here from the line. He's still going here. Oh, he's still going, Liam Martin. And it's third tackle, 3 metres out. Third tackle. They roll it back to Summerton. 6 again, they call. 6 again. And Panthers don't give away a penalty there, Jackson Ford, because, again, you don't want to go down by 6. Second tackle, 5 metres away from the line here for the Panthers. On the line, Summerton to Nathan Cleary. Cleary into the line here for Casey McLean. And Tanner Boyd is really getting into tackles at the moment. Third tackle at the 8. You need to have some of the best defence of your life right now, Warriors. Your season depends on it. Nathan Cleary in the back. Dylan Edwards. They got numbers. But good scramble defense from the Warriors. And Polana Motti at the 9. Fourth tackle. Good numbers there from the Panthers, but the scramble was nice. Then it's Isaac Tungo. He goes. Oh, just held short. 3 metres out. Fifth tackle. Fifth tackle with the Panthers. Good defense from the Warriors on this set. They go to the back to Nathan Cleary. Good rush-up defense, but Nathan Cleary runs it himself, and he's taken down. That's unbelievable scramble defense from the Warriors. That's really good defense from the Warriors to hold him out just then. Wowee. And the Warriors have had to come up with trumps with this a lot. Well, arguably, you're going to penalise Nathan Cleary. He's not giving the ball. That's a penalty. Yep, Nathan Cleary, you've just penalised your own team so stupid. You're clearly holding the ball to not give the ball back to the Warriors quickly, and that's a penalty to the Warriors. I don't know why Nathan Cleary's just done that. You are the captain. You are experienced. You know how to win these games. Why are you doing that? You've just been penalised, which has gotten the Warriors off a fantastic defensive set after scoring the most recent try to now getting out of their own problem end of the 10. Now they're at the 20. Well, they only kicked it 10 metres to be fair, but it's going to be first tackle for the Warriors at the 25. This momentum is shifting. Now, I don't know what Cleary was thinking there, Josie Pass. So Tanner Smith, but the Warriors just need to go on with this now. They just need to keep on with this second phase play. Emmanuel is helping his old team, Cleary. Helping his old team, old Cleary? Nathan Cleary. Old team? Warriors? There's a lot of old ex-players from both these teams in this game, but I don't know about it being Nathan Cleary. Fourth tackle now. Jet Cleary plays the younger lads in New Zealand, and Ivan Cleary was the coach, but Nathan Cleary not so much. So Fisher Harris now be fifth tackle, 45 metres away from the Panthers line, 20 minutes to go of the game, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Harris to Vita will put that ball up into the air. The chase is nice from Watine Zelezniak. Who gets it? Dylan Edwards will. Oh my gosh. Knocked the ball on a lot lately. Juggles the ball, but he does keep it in. He does keep it in. First tackle. Oh, no, someone's come up for a HIA. Who's come up for a HIA? Who is it? Is that Chance? Oh, Wade Egan. So Samuel Healy's going to have to be the 9. Samuel Healy comes on. I like it. I like Samuel Healy as a player. Someone says, what's happened to Edwards under the high ball last few weeks? Well, it's been since Origin, really. It has been since Origin. So second tackle, and Brian To'o will get this ball to the 30-metre line on second tackle. Healy's the man. Yeah, well, he's on now for Wade Egan, who will be off for the next 15 at the minimum. And Summerton with a quick play the ball, but he'll be taken down to the 42, and that's a great tackle from Tamati Martin. Ivan Cleary used to play for the Warriors. Yeah, Ivan Cleary I can give the ex-Warriors credit to, but not Nathan Cleary. So Nathan Cleary now at the halfway point. And the Warriors will get the ball at the 10 to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. He gets away from Liam Martin. He gets away to the 15. And it's going to be 12 metres out on first tackle. Harris Tavita quickly to chance Neil Klokstad, and he'll just run it into Mose Leota, and he'll get crunched in the tackle at 16. Not a great deal of meters here from the Warriors. They go down Martinez to Lesniak, and he'll get this ball to the 25 on third tackle. Still not the greatest set, but that was a good run from Martinez to Lesniak. Off the chance, Neil Klokstad, and Neil Klokstad now at the 32 on fourth tackle. Only 4 points the difference. Anything can happen in an elimination final. Tamati Martin, who wants it more? At the crunch, fifth tackle at the 41. Samuel Healy to Harris Tavita, and Harris Tavita will just bang this one down into the left corner. Edwards over the sideline. No, he throws it back in the field. Jeez, it was lucky. It was lucky, but he does throw the ball back in the infield, and the Panthers get it at the 15. Great kick from Harris Tavita. Great kick from Harris Tavita. But nice work from Edwards to throw the ball back into the infield before he does go over the sideline there because of the wet weather. And yeah, nice work there from Edwards. It was nice. He has done a much better job tonight than he has in recent weeks, that's for sure, Dylan Edwards. So the Panthers now a fourth tackle at their own 35. There is a lot of tiredness from both these teams here in the middle of the field, but this game really could see a few tries in this last 18 minutes. I agree with McInnes. Down will change to Lesniak to the left-hand side. Oh, Liam Martin with a good tackle at 25, though. First tackle. Has Edwards got CT? Why the hell is he trying to take that full speed dive? Warriors away at the 40. Adam Pompey, the 45, second tackle. Good run. Good run. Oh, he's lost the ball. Well, he's not really complaining about it. He's pretty annoyed, but he's not really complaining about it. So he must have lost the ball out of view here. Where's he lost the ball here? And where did he lose the ball here? We can't see it from that angle. We have to look from the other angle. He had to. It was a 40-20. No, it wasn't a 40-20 hunt, but because he kicked it from outside the, he kicked it from about, I think, the 42 or so. I was looking at the 40-20 attempt, and then I noticed that he went to the 42, so it wouldn't have been a 40-20, no. Hunt says he had to. It was a 40-20. Yeah, Fame. Yeah, no, I live rent free in your head, brother. Steve says Warriors playing good, eh? So Panthers now will be at the 40. At the 40 on first tackle. It'll be Samuel Healy. He'll go to the right-hand side to Isaiah Yeo, Moses Leota. And Leota is going to be at the 37 on second tackle. 17 minutes to go. I think next try wins this game. I think next try wins it. And Liam Martin will beat the 30. Third tackle, 30 metres away. They give it to Isaiah Yeo. Isaiah Yeo across here. Lindsay Smith. Good ball into the line of Luke Garner, but he falls. Falls after breaking through. Fourth tackle, 15 metres out. Now it's Samuel Healy to Nathan Cleary. Cleary steps, and he'll be taking out 5 metres out. He's out of the fifth play as well. It was a great tackle there. The Panthers, Summerton gets it across. Quick play. Blaze Salungi, Lindsay Smith. It's fifth tackle. He throws it back to Isaiah Yeo. And Isaiah Yeo is still going here, taken down on fifth tackle at 10. The Panthers aren't getting those fifth tackle options like they were with the 4 dropouts before. The Warriors are defending nicely. They're keeping them out. They just keep turning up right now, the Warriors defensively. I really believe next try wins. Levy says, oh no, I know he's not one, but acting is like one. Yeah, fair enough. Laurie's friggin' mistakes. Comment in the chat right now who you think wins from here, guys. Do you think the Panthers will face the Bulldogs next week in the next elimination final, or do you think the Warriors will make it through? Tanner Boyd has to come off the field. Their halfback will come off for a HIA. They do have Aaron Clark coming back on, but it just basically means that Tamati Martin and Channel Harris Tavita are now your halves. And now the kick is important. Now the conversion kick is important. Harris Tavita can kick, but also he's faced a lot of criticism for missing kicks. So you don't want to kick from the sideline, otherwise we might be looking at an extra time game here, if the Warriors can score. Johnny Pass says, come on, Wise, end this streak. Sean says, Panthers. Margaret says, Warriors to face Bulldogs next week. Well, good luck. Warriors now, second tackle at 22. They give it off to Aaron Clark. UTAP Leon says, I hope the Warriors will win next week. Well, the Warriors aren't even into next week right now. Right now, they're being eliminated. They've got 15 minutes to change their fortunes. Samuel Healy with a good run to the 40, and it'll be 4 tackle. 4 tackle. They roll it back to Aaron Clark. Into the line for Tamati Martin, and he'll be at the 48 on the Panthers side of the field. Who makes a mistake first here? The grind of the game. Harris to Vida. He's going to kick this ball away. There's no penalty for that. Oh my gosh. The ball bounces. Alamotti will get taken in the in goal, and that's the first mistake. Oh no, he's gotten out. No, he has gotten out of the in goal. He'll be half a metre out of the in goal. And now let's see what the Warriors do here. Dylan Edwards at the 5. The kicking game of the Warriors in the second half has really turned on. Alamotti is down a back play here. Panthers now third tackle at 10. That was a mistake that they weren't punished harshly for. But, geez, this is a hectic finish to this. And this final series is looking like a belter. Last night's game was a belter. And right now, this is looking like a belter. Fourth tackle to 15. Edwards will get this ball to the 20. And the Warriors are going to get great field position out of this as long as they just make sure they get this ball. Don't do anything stupid with it. Good rush-up play here from the Warriors. Inside his own 20. And the ball is going to bounce here. Oh, my gosh. It's going to bounce for the Panthers. It's going to bounce. It's a forward pass. Oh, that was a forward pass. Oh, the bounce is not going to be great there for the Panthers. And then Brian Tott was going to get it. And Brian Tott was going to pass it. Oh, my gosh. The Panthers are going to score off a forward pass. And that's going to be the season. Oh my gosh, they've just scored off a forward pass, and that's going to be probably the Warriors season. Oh no, I'm so sorry, Warriors fans. Oh my gosh, the ball bounce has just gone perfectly for the Panthers, and they're going to score off a forward pass. Oh no. Oh guys, we're going to see this for the rest of eternity, that another forward pass hasn't been called. Oh no, Warriors, I'm so sorry. I want to see this again. Let's see the ball bounce here. It bounces perfectly back. Garner. Oh, no. Oh, no, Warriors. That's definitely forward, lads. Oh, with 14 minutes to go, they won't call it because the touchy's not going to be in line with it. That's nice there from Brian Toto. Min T says forward pass. Yeah, unfortunately it is. Lagan says that was def a try. No, it definitely shouldn't have been. But let's not ignore that was an exact 100-metre try set. Yeah, it was. Is this rugby union with these forward passes, Steve says? Oh, dude. Mark says, let's not forget the Raiders are shit and they're still in 17th position. Try confirmed. Yeah, the commentary is really criticising it. Well, now you need a miracle here, Warriors. Again, you'll be down by 10 points. Scott says forward. Oh, lads, you're going to see socials blow up now. You are going to see socials blow up. Oh, yikes. Like I said, sorry, I meant that was def forward, my bad, but Andrew John said it was for play on Channel 9. Yeah, good on Andrew Johns. Commentary right now is blowing up here. I want to see what Twitter's saying about that. Forward pass, ref 2 metres away. NRL, we know you want Panthers in grand final. People are going off about it. Once again, the NRL allowed 4 passes from Penrith. NRL have already got the premiership ring side of Penrith by the looks of things. 4 passes allowed now. Yeah, people are pretty pissed off. But 13 minutes to go. Let's see if it can change. The trick is to Waz fans to go in expecting a loss. That way you can only be surprised and never disappointed. Sam is a Titans fan. That's exactly how I live my life, man. Davis is robbed. Well, at the end of the day, it's not robbed, but it's robbed of an opportunity. It's robbed of an opportunity. You know, it was a very unlucky bounce. Oh, they're going to let the ball bounce here, the Panthers, and they'll get this ball here to the 12. You know, at the end of the day, like, it's a very unlucky bounce. It was a great bounce, though. Fantastic bounce to the Panthers. And then the Warriors went able to get to it. It bounces Luke Garner, but it's clearly a full pass, which means the Warriors should have got the ball at the 40. They should have got the ball at the 40. Were they even on sideline in the pass? Well, I'm not sure, Lucas, but the pass was definitely forward. Third tackle now at the 30. Lindsay Smith, he'll get this ball to the 45 on 4 tackle. Waz Roberts going to explode after this game. Yeah, look, and look, justifiably so to be frustrated and angry if you're a Waz fan of that, because you were within the game with 4 points. And you still are. You just got to hope that doesn't impact you too greatly. You just got to really hope that doesn't impact you too greatly. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck here at the 10. He'll get the ball to the 15. Louis says, somebody Muppet. David says, GD boys, see you next year. Well, it's not over just yet, man. 12 minutes to go. 12 minutes to change around the fortunes. Rather have the loss in the Panthers, but not the ref. Yeah, you never want to see the referee involved in the game. But it's as per usual, man. Third tackle now for the Warriors at the 25. At the very least, like, the argument will be made that the Panthers were up by 4 at the time. The Panthers went by 4, so it's not like they were robbed, but it's just robbed of opportunity, man. Aaron Clark to Money Martin, gives it across here, out to the left-hand side, and they're away. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at the 45. He cuts back onto the inside. He gives it out to Adam Pompey, back to Harris Tavita, then to Money Martin, hits the grass. Warriors still with the ball near Corey, gets it across here, and the Warriors away like Halasima. Halasima at the 45. He'll get that ball and throw it over the sideline. Oh, dude. Yeah, no, the Warriors... Their mind's gone, dude. You can tell their mind's gone. If you hit that pass there, you probably score. And Halasina's just dragged it. He's just dragged the pass. Yeah, he's not even looking at the pass. I don't even know why you're doing the no looker there, Halasima. You don't need a no looker there. He knows you're probably going to pass that ball. Just go with the pass. Jamie says, time to switch over to the All Blacks. Thanks, bro, for the awesome commentary. Appreciate you, bro. There is still 11 minutes to go here, so don't give up complete hope just yet. At least the Wires are throwing something at them there, but like that was... Yeah, that wasn't great. You can tell the Wires are now in that all or nothing state. Well, they have to be. There's only 10 minutes left of their season otherwise. 10 minutes to go here of the game, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. 10 minutes to go here of the game. 18-8 to the Panthers. And don't forget, Sharks versus the Roosters in a knockout final. About 15 minutes after this stream finishes in about an hour and 10 minutes time. So third tackle, yeah, no way, John. Am I agreeing with that after that forward pass just then? So Isaiah Yeo will be at the 30. That's awful considering we just saw that forward pass, John. Very well officiated is a crazy comment. So for the most part, I'd agree. 99% of the game I agree, but it was clearly a forward pass from Ghana. Fifth tackle now for the Panthers, and they're at the 13. And now it's Cleary. He steps, knocks it back, and Warriors get the ball at the 3. No, they're going to say knock on even the Warriors. They're going to challenge this. They're going to challenge it. Cleary will go for drop goal to seal it. Well, it's 18-8. It's a 10-point game. A field goal doesn't seal anything. It just makes it 11. Someone says, giving up on your own team with 10 minutes to go is crazy. I've got to be honest, I agree with you there, Seb Watson. You can't be giving up on your team right now with 10 minutes left. There is still only 10 points in it. But here's a challenge coming up here for the Warriors. This is a kick from Lindsay. Edwards is in front of the kicker. Does he make a play? I think he does. This might actually be a penalty, Warriors here. Yeah. Yeah, Edwards is going to make a play here. So there's a challenge from the Warriors, and he does put pressure. I don't even know if it was a knock-on anyway, because he does catch it in his legs. But it's going to be a penalty here. John says, the Warriors have been their own worst enemy in this game, and the Panthers have definitely produced some moments that have turned the game. The Warriors have had their opportunities and squandered it. That's great, but that doesn't take away from the fact they were only down by 4 points, and then we see the Panthers score a forward pass try, which was by a very, very gratuitous bouncing kick that bounced back for the Panthers, which was a great kick from Cleary. But at the end of the day, the forward pass is still a forward pass and should be adjudicated on. You know, we can't just say, well, the Warriors and the Panthers, and we just ignored the call. No, we can't ignore that call because it was a very crucial call and a very crucial time of the game that took a game from a 1-score game and a winnable 1-score game to a 2-score game. You know, so you still have to look into that. But overall, right now the Panthers have still done enough to win this game, even without that, because I didn't know if the Warriors were going to be able to score anyway. But you can't just say that the Panthers have produced their shit and the Warriors have done what they've done and the forward pass doesn't matter because it was very crucial. They shouldn't have let the ball bounce. Doesn't matter. Forward pass is still a forward pass. Irregardless. Warriors will knock the ball on, the Panthers get it, and that's the Warriors season. I'm sorry, but I completely disagree with you, John. You can't make any excuses for the officiating of that call. But Brian To'o will score, and that's the game. And unfortunately, Warriors, you have been eliminated for the season. But no, I find that's a disgraceful thought process to say, oh, they shouldn't have let it bounce, so it's okay, we'll allow a forward pass. But anyway, that will unfortunately be the Warriors' season there, lads. They will lose, and I think that as soon as that happened, their season was just done. And I think you've got to take it as a successful year anyway, Warriors fans. I think you've got to take it as a successful year where everyone tipped you for the bottom 4. I personally had you in the bottom 2. I had you second last, and you super surprised me. You know, I did have concerns about your attack, and I thought your defense I didn't know too heavily about how strong your defense was going to be. It's been great this year for the most part, but obviously just fell apart in the back end of the year. But I do think you've got to be really happy with the fact that you're even here and you got a home final. It did drop off dramatically. I think you were missing Mitchell Barnett. I think you were missing Luke Metcalf. I think you were missing these kind of guys, but ultimately, the Warriors had a successful year comparatively to where people thought. Coke says Warriors missed Metcalf. I think Warriors actually mainly have missed Mitchell Barnett. I think it's Mitchell Barnett mainly. Minty says last year Broncos did it to the Warriors. No, that was in 2023. Expert said I think the bunker should definitely be able to call on those moments where the game is in the balance and you can blatantly see the ref has it wrong. Yes, but it's a slippery slope because you can't make a call based off of how obvious a forward pass is. Like, how do you put that as a stipulation or regulation in the game? Like, how do you make that as a stipulation regulation? How do you word it to say that an obvious forward pass should be called, but a non-obvious forward pass can't be called? How do you word that? Because there's too much open to interpretation. 7 minutes to go the game. Robert says, thanks, bro, for the season. Well, Robert will still be here for the rest of the year when we've got the internationals. I'm sure you'll be here for New Zealand. The league will be relieved anyway, Chris Martin says. Condor says, an officiating error ruining a team's season. Who saw that coming? Not surprised, Condor. Not surprised. John says, brother, that's why we love you. We love to hear what you have to say. No, I appreciate you, John. No, we're just having a genuine conversation here. It's what it is. I disagree with you, and I passionately disagree with what you're saying, but it's okay to disagree with opinion. Again, what we've seen this week in society, I want to remind people, it is okay to disagree with my opinion, and it is okay for me to disagree with your opinion, but at the end of the day, it's just an opinion, and we're all just trying to fight through life. So, buddy, don't take it offensively. Ryden says, that fella Aaron is a gun cut. Yeah, Clark is... He's a good bloke, mate. He's a good bloke and a really tough player. Really tough player. Hey, Sixers, man, so proud of the boys this year, making the unlucky game with the boys. Bring it next year. Yeah, unfortunately, the season is going to be done, but the Warriors will get the short kick, and the Warriors will catch it. So it'll be, Wise ball at 38. Well, hey, Penrith, it's 24-8. Broncos fans, look away. Broncos fans, look away. The score is 24-8. Can the Warriors find a way to turn around? We were talking before, but the middle of the field was looking tired, so maybe we was going to see a few tries. Right in your core. 5 minutes after the line, second tackle. Warriors, if you want a chance, you have to score right this damn well second. They go left-hand side. Leka Hadasima off to Charles Clockstad, to Money Martin. Aaron Clark through the middle. He'll be 10 metres after the line, third tackle. Now they go Wade Egan, who's back on the field, back here to Vaimalga, then to Wade Egan. Wade Egan across here to Aaron Clark. Aaron Clark to Charles Clockstad. Clockstad, he will get his ball to the 8 on fourth tackle. I agree, Leon. Leon. Wade Egan to Vaimalga. He'll be 3 metres out, fifth tackle. Well, Warriors, here's your season right now. They kick this ball through. Murata Niokore. Drop out. So Warriors ball. Warriors get the drop out. David says, I just want the Warriors to have some hope so we can send them home disappointed. Sure, mate. Olivia says, I'm not liking this. John says, 100% it is, man. I come in here because I love your call and love a chat. Love your point of view. Get around you. Wayne says, Waz might get a new coach next year. No, they won't. They're not getting rid of Andrew Webster after a 6th place year when they were all predicted to be in the bottom 2. But yeah, Leon says that uncalled forward pass through in this game. Well, it did. It was only a 4-point game, and the Panthers will get the short dropout, and that's definitely the season. Silhouette says, let's go to Panthers. Well, the Panthers will be playing the Bulldogs next week, lads. The Panthers will be playing the Bulldogs next week in an elimination final. I believe that'll be on the Friday. And then the next game, which we'll be live for in 1 hour's time, guys, will be the Sharks versus the Roosters. Whoever wins that game goes through to play the loser of tomorrow's Raiders-Broncos game. Whoever loses that game is eliminated. Knock on from the Panthers, so Warriors ball at 35. Bala says refs and bunker from Papua New Guinea. Well, Edwards is challenging this. I don't know why you would. No surprise, though. Edwards loves a knock on. Leon says Panthers Storm Grand Final still on. No, it can't happen. No, yes, it can happen, sorry, because the Storm won. Yeah, no, you're right. You are right. I don't think it happens, but you are right. I think the Dogs with Sexton can roll Penrith. Yeah, I think the Dogs could beat Panthers. But it'll be interesting. I don't know how I'll tip that game next week. It'll depend on the ramifications of last night's game throughout this week for team lists, and also the same for this. Noel says, for what it is and where we are at in finals footy, I still feel good about everything despite some calls. Next year, bottom 8 needs to try harder for our very spot. Agree, but I will give you a little bit of word of caution. The Eels look a lot better. obviously the Titans making a lot of changes. Do I think they're a top 8 team? Not necessarily, but they're making a lot of changes. You were going to see the Rabbitohs, if they're fully fit and healthy, they're going to be up there. The Dragons, they could be an interesting shout for an 8 if they can be a bit more consistent, but it's their halves that are the issues. The Cowboys, they can be all over the shop, but sometimes you could believe they'd be up there. The issue for Mo and the Warriors is that in 2022 they came 15th, in 2023 they came top 4, in 2025 they've come top 6. So it's like a fluctuating system is top 8 bad, top 8 bad, top 8 bad. So next year would be a bad. Do I think that happens? Not necessarily, but I think they need to fix their attack. Their defense is not the problem. Their defense isn't the problem. I know they've given up a lot of points in these last 5-6 weeks, but their defense isn't the problem. It's their attack. Unfortunately, Tanner hasn't gotten their attack going. I'll be honest with you, Luke Metcalf didn't get their attack going. No one's been able to get their attack going. Harris Tavita and Tamati Martin. And in my postseason review last year, I outlined this and I said I was worried about their attack. At least All Blacks are winning. That's good. Don says, my man, how can we get you on Channel 9? I guess an ex-player's call, but you'd be a welcome addition in my opinion. No, I appreciate that, John, but we lose the live chat, and this is where we get to interact on Channel 9 and stuff. You don't get to interact. The Dark Fights was just announced, Stephen. Season is over. Stephen Crichton's season is over. Oh, dude. Well, you probably are looking at the Panthers as a tip there. You probably are. You tap Leon says, why have you got the Titans at the top of the ladder? Well, this is just a screenshot from the NRL ladder, mate. This is a series channel. That's just how the Titans haven't lost a game all season. Season's up the All Blacks. You tap Leon. That's right. Shannon says, see you guys there. Great chats tonight. Yeah, Sharks for Roosters. Get around it. Get around it. Still waiting here for something that's happening on the field. Prayers up to Stephen Crichton. He'd be gutted that he can't play next week. Well, apparently he can't play for the rest of the season. Syndesmosis. Was it Syndesmosis? Were we right last night? Who got Sharks for Roosters last minute tip? I'll go Sharks. I don't know why, but I'll go upset. I'll go Sharks. I do know why. But look, 3.5 minutes to go here of this game. It was a great game, just until the last 10 minutes where it kind of got destroyed by a really bad call, but the Panthers deserve the win regardless. It's going to be an interesting game next week for myself. No, because you're a Bulldogs fan, Sean. Leon says, what you think of Atkinson on the bench? Oh, that's right, because Hines is playing. I would have liked to see Hines and Atkinson again, to be fair. Maybe try Trindle as the 14. I don't think it's a bad shout. They looked really good against the Dogs last week with Hines and Atkinson. Cleary is gout and his foot. What? Mark says he's not happy with the Panthers. Minty says always a Warrior. Yeah, I back it. Like, obviously, I'm always a Titan, and our team sucks, and our team has always sucked. Our only finals win ever was in 2010, actually, against you guys, funnily enough, at Skill Park at the time. But, yeah, no, like, you got to stick with your team. Yeah, you got to stick with your team regardless. John says, I'm going the Roosters by a large margin. Big call. Definitely is a big call. Definitely is a big call. But the Roosters did beat the Sharks by a large margin the last time they played. The Sharks haven't won a home final at Sharky Park since 2008. Anything could happen, maybe. But I don't think so. Lagan says, the Wars are in the bin, the Wars are in the bin. No. Well, yeah, you also lost last night. So third tackle now for the Warriors, and now there'll be fourth tackle, and it'll be forward pass. The Panthers get the ball back. Margaret says, up the Wars, always 100. That will be... They're going to challenge a forward pass? There's no way. You can't do that. What are they challenging? Oh, the call was a knock-on, not a forward pass, apparently. Oh, okay, well then there's no knock-on there. Yeah, okay. Cleary potentially may have a little knee injury. Oh, true, okay. I haven't even heard this. Nate says, Marky Mark 5 tries first half. Please delete your comment. Hello, people. Says, Broncos or Raiders versus Storm Grand Final. I'm sorry, Panthers losing in finals week 3. I think next week is an interesting one. But I will say, and I've said this for a few weeks, that Raiders Storm, but that is an obvious one for obvious reasons, first versus second. But I still will lean Raiders Storm. I think this is just going to be a successful challenge, but it really doesn't matter. Like yeah, he takes possession, so it's going to be a successful challenge. Wayne says, what the hell, Warriors going on? Too many mistakes? Yeah, a lot of mistakes. Raiders Storm. Hello, people. No Broncos can have a cup of tea with us Waz fans. Well, I got the Rays to beat the Broncos tomorrow, and then the Broncos will play the winner of tonight's Sharks-Roosters game. I really, really are desperate for the Sharks versus the Broncos. I'm really desperate for it. Monkey Boy tries to let's go the Sharks. Leon says, you don't think the Dogs left it all out against the Storm? They're going to be tired for next week. Sure, that's why I'm probably tipping the Panthers, is what I said. Especially with no Stephen Crichton. Jazz says, thank God, red wine, Warriors. Ludwig Rice says, hence why he probably wasn't doing the goal kicking towards the end. Yeah, valid. Oh, I didn't even notice that, to be fair. And Warriors kick this one down to the 30. I do want to say, though, because when people criticise the officiating for the forward pass in this game, people are going to say, okay, you take away the 6 points they got from that, it goes to 18-8, so it's irrelevant. This is by far the dumbest argument that I see in every single game that has a controversial call for a try. Penalty to the Panthers here with a minute and a half to go. It is by far the dumbest comment. It's from people who don't know what they're actually saying. Because the whole game from that point is changed. Regardless if it's changed against you or for you, the whole game is changed from that outset. Right? So everything has an impact on the rest of the game. So it's not just it's not as simple as just taking 6 points away from the score here. It's taking 6 points away from a score of 20, what was it? It was 12, so it was 18-8. You take that 6 points away, and at the time it was 12-8 with 20 minutes to go of the game. People who utilise this argument of just take this score away because that is, but yet the tries that were scored after that point still count. It's like, well, those tries aren't going to be there because the ball's not going to be in that position because the whole game has changed from that point. You understand what I'm saying? I really get confused when people make this argument. It's not as simple as that. If you don't agree the referee was the reason for the Warriors' loss here today, then that's your opinion. That's fine. And I will say that I think the Warriors were probably getting tired anyway. But they were within 4 points at the time. It's robbed them an opportunity, and you never know if they're going to be able to find that second gear, that third gear to keep going with the Panthers. Any try after that moment for mine just kind of becomes null and void overall in that discussion. Warriors will knock the ball on. They're saying potentially it could be Nathan's groin now with the old groin injuries come back. That'll be interesting. God bless him, though. Two stars to send him home. A for effort, not E for effort. Up the Waz. 2026. Good luck. Johnson's controversial calls could cause confidence issues and change the fabric of the game, absolutely. And it forces the Warriors to play the rest of the game with the just throw the ball mentality. For example, like a Halasima, like he was trying the no-looker. You saw the Warriors pushing the pass. They wouldn't need to push the pass if they're only down by 4 with 17 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go kind of deal. So that's why it's such a ridiculous discussion and argument from people to just try and simply take away the points, regardless of the points that were scored afterwards. Thanks to 2025, brother. Up the Warriors. Get around your Noel. Appreciate you for tuning in. Laurie says, if only more than one car showed up at the Pullman to make noise. Was it only one car, was it? Was it only one person? Was it that's the only bloke? Mark's a forward pass, and no reasoning can excuse it. I agree. I'm not excusing it. I'm literally not excusing it at all. I'm actually going more in favour of what you're saying. But anyway, guys, that's the full time. Panthers win 24-8. Controversial. But at the end of the day, the Warriors are eliminated from 2025. The Panthers are going through. They'll be taking on the Canterbury Bulldogs next week in Sydney at Accor Stadium. Obviously, we'll be live for it. And then, in 50 minutes' time, we'll be live for the Cronulla Sharks taking on the Sydney Roosters in a knockout finals game just like this one. The Sharks have not won at Shark Park in a finals game since 2008. And the Sharks, the last time they played the Roosters, they lost by about 40 points to them. But the Roosters obviously did finish in 8th for a reason, and they can be a bit topsy-turvy. So, got to be a very interesting game. I'm going to react to this one, though, because this is interesting. Knowledge says, aren't professional athletes trained to not be the mentally impacted regardless of the score differential? Yes, you are right. That is absolutely correct that they are professionally trained. But they're also still human. And at the end of the day, although you are trained in a certain way, you're still a human, and you're still going to have to change the way you're playing the game to accommodate for what's happening, but you're also going to know that you're changing the way to accommodate. They may not even know it's a forward pass, mind you. I will throw that out there. The players might not know because all the players were back in the behind play, and they were about 40, 30 metres away whilst the Panthers were breaking up the field. So they might not even know yet, but everyone who watched the game knows that. So that doesn't necessarily impact this game overall, but the way that it will still mentally impact a human being based on the fact that they are a human being, regardless of their professional training. Right, but they obviously just have to do their best to get through that. But I don't actually think that, thinking back at it now, that's the reason they lost this and considered another try afterwards, because I don't think they would have actually acknowledged it was a forward pass at the time. Jared Ford says Uncle Stan was probably the most prolific rugby league player manager in the history of New Zealand rugby league. Minty said go the Sharks. David says GD boys up to Wars next year. Yeah, well, good luck for that one. But guys, we will see you in about 50 minutes time, because we will have the Cronulla Sharks taking on the Sydney Roosters in another elimination game. I appreciate you for tuning in. I'm going to take the Panthers off of fraudulent because they are in the second week of finals. And they didn't lose to get there. The Bulldogs do stay there. The Panthers do go through, so they are a fraudulent. 3 teams eliminated there on the ladder, and we've still got 6 more teams, to go. So hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. I'll see you at the Sharks versus the Roosters game. Appreciate you as always, and unlucky Warriors. We'll see you in 2026. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.